anymore. Anything. She's so embarrassed by it.
Yeah,
Suzanne's sister.
What,
anything misspelled. You know, like the big guy getting their tattoo.
Oh, man. Oh, Suzanne's got this friend. Oh, this is the best. So she's one of these girls that's got tats everywhere. I mean, just everywhere. Full sleeves and shit. So on her side, she's got a nice body, too, man. So on her side, she puts one of the Bible verses where it says, oh, my God. Hey, babe, what was that Bible verse that your friend put on her side spelled wrong? Wait till you hear this. Oh, my God. Suzanne, once again, she got it that day and she put it up on Facebook. And it was up on Facebook, and Suzanne was like one of the first to see it. She goes, oh, I didn't realize in the Bible they spelled that differently. All of a sudden, the picture's gone. She realized, so not only did she have to approve it, but the fucking tattoo artist didn't know how to spell either.
I think they just do what they get.
Oh, and he gave us strength, something about strength. And the Lord gave us strength. Come on, help me out here. Something with the word strength.
I don't know.
She's looking it up. They spelled strength wrong.
S-T-R-E-N-G-T-H.
Yeah, like they left the whole fucking letter out or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know what she ultimately did, but she pulled everything off Facebook like it never happened and shit.
Are you sure her dad was dishonorably discharged? He pretty much had to kill
He
someone.
went, well, maybe he wasn't, but he went AWOL.
Oh, he probably got bad conduct or something like that.
I don't know.
You usually go to prison.
He didn't go to prison. No. He went AWOL.
People call those dishonorable.
Actually, he went AWOL to go get married to her mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he was gone for like, I don't know how long, but we're not talking overnight or a day. He was gone for a while, and then finally came back.
You wouldn't believe how often that happens in rings. You wouldn't believe. All of a sudden, the guys show the weekends. Yeah, they show up. Hey, what's his name? I don't know.
I don't even know his name, let alone where he's at.
That's the best thing I never got.
I never got one either. I never even thought of one, though. I never,
There's nothing that I saw like, that's it.
I gotta have it. I just never,
I thought of getting on my ass, USDA choice. I would have lasted about, 30 seconds in the Marines.
I didn't want to cry in the chair.
Mine would say Kobe beef.
Oh, I would have been drunk like a motherfucker. I was getting... There's guys there. Yeah, this was way back in the 70s. This is 120. This one was 85.
They got $12,000.
I know.
They say it's addictive though. Once you get started, it's yeah.
But those sleeves, and then in the Marines, they said nothing above the collar or below the wrist. A lot of women have a tattoo.
What if they already had one?
There you go. Yeah.
What if they had one coming in? They can't get in? Or they
might not. I don't know.
Yeah, because when you're in dress, you can't see them.
Well, you may be limited to what you can do.
Well, what happens if I was in shorts?
Good question. Well, you know what, like your brother-in-law, whatever, he's got on his hands, he's an officer, I'll guarantee you that'll stop.
Oh, does he? I never even looked.
Yeah. I'll guarantee you that'll stop his, he won't get above captain. Never get above captain.
That's what he is right now, is captain. He just got promoted to captain.
I mean, captain, they pretty much stand out.
So I think, as some of the older guys.
Pretty soon you'll have to transition to be good.
Hey, guys.
So you don't have to lose. We'll come running just as fast as we can. Troubleshooter's gonna help the common man.
This is the Troubleshooter Show. Now, Tom Martino.
Hi, Tom Martino here. Welcome to the only show of its kind anywhere. We are solving problems, answering questions, and taking complaints. And we've been doing it for 40 years, the longest running show on radio with the same host still on the air. Oh, man, we got a lot going on. Today is car day. Now, that doesn't mean we will only take car problems, but we concentrate on motor vehicles today. So if you have a car problem, it would be an ideal day to call at 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. This hour brought to you by RealCBDThatWorks.com. I can't believe the relief I get from that. Just took a little this morning, and really, Real CBD that works. Differential.com. I gave it that URL so you could go and order, use Tom and the promo code, get 30% off, because it really does work. It's from Panacea Life Sciences. Let's talk to Phil. Phil, what's going on with your tranny?
Hey, my daughter bought a 2014 Nissan Murano with about 84,000 on it. And I guess they have a slightly different kind of transmission, a CVT, something like that.
They used to be different, but now they're kind of not different. They're kind of, a lot of them have it. What is it called,
okay.
Kevin Calkin? What is that? Is it CVT?
It's a variable transmission.
It's what is it called?
Variable.
Okay, what does it mean?
Okay.
Instead of separate gears, it actually has cones where a belt or chain will move, so it never really shifts.
Like that drill bit that has all those different sizes on it.
Exactly.
And you just keep going to get bigger holes.
Exactly.
It's a cone shape. So what about it? Do you have a problem with this tranny? When did she buy it?
She bought it about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago.
You mentioned the mileage. How many miles?
She bought it at 84,000.
Okay. So, by the way, as with any used car, and Kevin, I wish there was a chart, but with any used car, when you go 60 or above, you got to start looking at timing belts if it has one, and an interference engine.
Yep.
Does this have a timing belt or a chain?
Chain.
How do you know by just the name of the car? How do you know that?
Well, just
because
from
of your
experience.
All right.
Yeah.
But is there? I guess you'd have to Google it. But if it had a belt, explain to people what happens at around 60,000, depending on the interval. It can go from 60 to 95.
Yes, anywhere in there. But the belt is rubber cog teeth and everything, and it just deteriorates with time, temperature, everything.
And they have service intervals.
Yes.
And if you don't change it, you could ruin your engine.
You can. Yeah.
Okay, that's a side note. Go ahead, Phil, with you. So 2014 Nissan Murano, 84,000 miles with a CVT transmission. What's going on?
Yep. We took it into the dealer because it was accelerating in a weird fashion, and they said it needs a new transmission. So we proceeded and asked them, is there any recalls for this year? Because we had heard that there had been for this Nissan Murano, but it doesn't include our year. And then we also had heard that there was a class action lawsuit.
Hold on. Recall would not necessarily mean free.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're not always free. Sometimes they are.
Okay.
So
well, sometimes it's partial.
Sometimes if they're safety related, they're free. Kevin, there are all kinds of recalls, right? They're not all free.
Typically, recalls are safety.
Right, and that would be free.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
So you mean a service bulletin, possibly. So what were you getting at? What did you hear about the CVT? And Kevin, do you know anything about the CVT?
Yeah, and like you said, they're more and more common. They're almost in every car.
No, I meant in the Nissan. Was there a service bulletin?
They've had a lot of trouble with them.
Oh, they have?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, Phil, you got two problems. One, it's used, and two, you're not the original owner.
Right.
So even if there was something from the manufacturer, almost all of them, except for extreme safety issues, exclude subsequent owners. So let's make a long story short. If you're trying to get the manufacturer to work on, they're not going to do anything. You got 84,000 miles on a 2014 vehicle. I mean, you're talking about a 7-year-old vehicle with 84,000 miles. I know of ever any manufacturer doing anything for that. I mean, Kevin, am I wrong or what? Have you ever heard of these?
Some of the Subarus, they extended warranties for another 2 or 3 years, so they were going 6-7 years.
Okay, were they going 84,000 miles?
Yeah.
Okay, for Subarus. Okay, what about Nissan Murano?
Each one's different. Each year is going to be different. He's going to have to do a lot of legwork and phone calls.
Do you have a computer we can punch that into?
I'm trying now. It's really, really slow, but yeah, I'm trying.
All right. So there are some rare cases that they extend the warranty. When they do, does it extend to subsequent owners?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Yeah.
Can you give me an idea of something that would go for 7 years and go to subsequent owners?
Again, I know firsthand because I had a Subaru, and that did go to subsequent owners, and they did go almost.
And what was it that they repaired?
The transmission.
Was it a CVT?
CVT, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Phil,
so it is possible.
Yeah.
It is possible. He's saying that they would extend the warranty. Now, you said you had read about other years of the Nissan Murano.
Yes, having problems with this transmission, and I read that there was a class action lawsuit because the lawsuit complained that Nissan was knowingly putting in a transmission that was proven to have problems, and they kept putting it in. And either they settled out of court or they lost the lawsuit, one of the two. And I was wondering if I could get any...
I don't know anything. I'm looking at all the class actions I know of.
I know Jeff and I had spoken once because he had a problem with Nissan and he was suing them over this transmission.
Who was?
Jeff Vick.
He was suing them?
Yeah, because one that he had purchased from Nissan, he was part of a lawsuit with that.
Okay,
So
we're looking at this. I'm not finding any class action lawsuits. Can you call Jeff Vick and see if he knows anything? Hold on, we'll check with someone else. Listen, Phil, even if there was a class action lawsuit, I don't know how to put this to you, man. It's okay. No, let me put it to you this way. No class action lawsuit that I know of, not one, maybe there is one and I want to hear about it, has ever made a consumer whole. The class action lawsuit, the number one reason for a class action lawsuit is to punish the wrongdoer. In other words, the manufacturer gets popped with a big fine and reimbursement. The legal fees usually exceed the awards. So you may get, and I mean this, $100 maybe, and the attorneys get hundreds of thousands. Class action lawsuits normally aren't enough to hang your hat on. If you're waiting to get this fixed thinking, wait, man, if there's a class action lawsuit, we're getting this paid for, I can almost assure you, you will never get the entire transmission paid for. Now, if there happens to be an extension of the warranty that we don't know about, maybe. Kevin, in that case, were you able to replace an entire transmission under warranty?
Yeah, they did the whole job.
How many miles were on that car?
65,000.
And how many years had the owner owned it?
Four.
And it was the second owner?
Yes.
That is an amazing recall.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it was just, they just extended the warranty. It wasn't necessarily a recall.
No, but it extended to the second owner.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on. Let's talk to Jeff Vick at Kimmer Transmission. Jeff, do you know anything about the Nissan CVT transmission and any recalls or any service bulletins or any lawsuits?
Well, there were several lawsuits put out about them. I don't think any of them really went anywhere as far as any sort of monetary settlements for the end user. They did extend the warranty on several years of them because of high failure rates. And a lot of that was brought out because the lawsuits were pushed in front of them, and so they were trying to get out from underneath those.
And it says here the transmission's problems were lawsuits, but they involved the Rogue and the Pathfinder. They don't even mention the individual model that he had.
Well, the Sentra, the Murano, the Rogues, pretty much all of the passenger cars and the lighter SUVs have the CVTs, which is a continuously variable transmission.
But are they bad?
They're getting better. The earlier years on the CVTs, or particularly with Nissan, it definitely had widespread problems. The quality of parts that's coming out now, we're able to improve them to some degree, so they are getting better.
Do you know of any extended warranties or service bulletins that Nissan did for these people?
Well, like I said, there was several of them where they extended the powertrain warranty because of the high failure rates on the CVTs. Well, I mean, Nissan's very, very strict on once you cross that threshold, you're done.
If one came into your shop, how would you research it to see if it was covered?
Well, when we get into the computer, we can find that on those TSBs and see whether or not that VIN is applicable.
All right, so can we put his VIN number in your computer and see what pops?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Suze, let's do Phil a favor and at least do a search of the VINs. And, Phil, that's the best we can do. Then, of course, if you do need a tranny.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, hold on a sec.
Awesome, Tom. Thank you.
So he's going to take your VIN number, run it through his computer, and these guys nowadays can tell service bulletins, extended warranties, anything out there. Hold on, and that's what we'll do for you. I'm Tom Martino.
We'll report back on that and more.
This is Micah Lewis, General Manager at Miscellaneous.
That's true, they did extend 12 to 17 to 7 years, 84,000. But they're not specific as to original owner or...
They did say that?
That's what I'm reading here, yeah.
Facing a job loss? Considering a pension buyout?
God, this computer is just brutal.
It's terribly slow, isn't it?
It's brutal.
Is it us guys, our network, or what?
No.
Whatever these computers are.
Yeah.
ZeroResDenver.com. I have Zero Res do my carpets because I love the feel. The carpets feel like new. You know how you feel carpets and they feel a little crusty or something, or even moist sometimes? And listen, Zero Res is just as the name implies. No residue whatsoever. And in fact, that helps get the carpet cleaner and stay cleaner longer. Because they use empowered water, it's patented. But it's this super soft, alkaline, energized water that just cleans like crazy. And it keeps the carpets clean longer because there's no residue to attract dirt. It goes deep into the fibers. They also have another system I don't often talk about, but this brush system that goes deep and gets things clean. So it's together. That along with their water that makes things wonderful. You can have 3 rooms done for $109. ZeroResDenver.com, 303-471-5150. We want people to find referralist.com. I want them to find, for example, Kevin's website, which is SheridanAutotech.com. I want them to find my magazine website, 303consumer.com. What do? I go to Get Found Fast. We say to them, help us out. They do an analysis of your website free of charge. And then they'll tell you what's going wrong and what's right and how to make it better at no charge. GetFoundFast.com.
You still not refinance your mortgage? Well, soon you might be kicking yourself in the head. Rates are at historic lows.
The guy, Tom says, so what's wrong with your tranny? Well, she doesn't really like her operation that well.
The worst part about these CVTs, the only way to replace them years ago was buying one from Nissan.
Oh, yeah.
So you're taking the junk out and putting the junk back in.
Yeah, I saw this 5 thing that Mark, you sent me.
Look at all the cities you're in. Did you go to the website?
No, I remember, like I say, everybody said on those
CVTs. These are big hedge funds that invest in this shit.
They do print, too. That one.
I know.
That's why I said it. They just hit Arapahoe big time. This guy, Dave Porter, said it.
I got it.
Did you see that? He's right, though. It does make it look like it's an official Arapahoe guide. It's kind of funny.
Hey, let me take a minute and talk about Blue Sky CBD. It has really been working for my...
Boy, they're pushing the shit out of it.
I know. I hear this every, 5 times an hour. Dave's doing this.
And I told you about the balm I've used, that shoulder injury.
Who told you to use the bomb? I didn't tell you to use the bomb.
Bomb? What bomb?
Try saying that in the airport.
It's a maestro.
Yeah.
It's a maestro.
Maestro told you. No, you're on the line, your shoulder hurts, you turn to your wife and say, hey, would you give me that bomb? Before you know it, you're in security office tied down by 6 officers in handcuffs.
I almost had that. I went to a wedding in
Tommy,
South Bend.
the other day you
So I
told me
took
to
a little
call
connection
your
from
contact
Chicago to
Mark
South
Vanhoff
Bend. So
at
coming back,
11,
and this
and then you said, no, we're going to do it on Friday. Is it today at 11 or any time? Not at all?
No, because he wants to give them 7 days.
Okay, so we're axing it. I'll just wait to hear.
No TSA guy?
Okay.
Okay, so I get up there, and he said, sorry, sir, but the pre-TSA is closed today. And I just started looking around like, can we open it? I mean, there's nobody here. I'll move the cone if you want. I can help you. Oh, God. They put me for an entire search because I was a smart ass in the airport.
Wow.
Yeah, I was the only one there. Me, 8 TSA guys, and the guy above from the floor.
What a waste of time.
Yeah.
So, do you know TSA is not federal employees?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I talked to a
What
guy.
are they, locals? Just
right, like city, because it's DIA, is that?
There's a Denver municipality, so they're
Right,
actually
so
Denver
each
employees.
unit, whoever owns the airport employs them. That's what this one guy was going to call up because they.
I don't think so, bro.
Well, that's what he told me. He was a United employee, and his bitch was they couldn't use the workout facility there because only the city employees could do it. So he said the TSA. I said TSA. I thought that was federal.
Yeah,
No, that's
it. I'd look it up, but
I'm looking up right now. Might take it forever.
I already got one link open. I don't want to overload it.
Without them. Here's a life hack you may not have thought of.
So no, they tore apart my luggage.
It says right here, TSO. It says you got to have a federal background check. But
Denver's top station.
it says here the TSA is an agency of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security.
That doesn't mean that.
The lawyers police are here.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. All right, let's talk. Today is car day, but we're doing more than just cars. Frank Duran, the real estate man, will do a free market valuation of your home for the asking. It's way more than Zillow and way more than an appraisal. Not that they're not good to do. I mean, it's not going to hurt you, and an appraisal is required. But Frank actually tells you what houses sell for based on his market experience, and he'll come and measure and look and take pictures and look at comps, and there's no obligation, no cost, not a penny. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com, 303-920-1622. It's something I think everyone should do. Now, Chris has a question about rehab. Go ahead, Chris. What's happening?
Yeah, Tom, just a question on this settlement that's coming down from the Percocet that all the states are getting all this money. I wonder if anybody's going to put together a program. If you had to, I was hooked on Percocet for almost 30 years, and I paid my own way through rehab because, of course, my insurance they didn't cover anything. If they're going to do any type of program to reimburse the people that had to go out of pocket to go to rehab.
Wouldn't that be nice? Now, what I'd like to know.
I think some health coverage actually covers that now, though.
Yeah, rehab and also maintenance. And I don't mean maintenance of pain meds, but other things to help. How did you finally get off it, Chris?
Oh, it just finally I got in such a dark hole. I mean, I wasn't doing anything for a couple of years. Get home from work, take it.
But did you go to rehab?
Inner Balance.
Inner Balance. I love Inner Balance. They're good. They're good people.
What's the recidivism rate there?
Actually, I don't know. They don't do really. I think they count it by drugs. Different programs, like alcohol has one rate. Pills have another. Meth has another.
Isn't meth like the worst?
Yeah. Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
What was? I mean, you went to the in-resident program at Inner Balance.
I did.
How long did it take for you to heal to where you didn't have cravings or anything?
After I went through the program, I think I was in such a bad place when I went there. I just thank God I made my mind up. When I got out, I just didn't even think about it.
Wow, that's so good.
I mean, I had my 5-year anniversary last month, so I'm very lucky.
Now, listen, man, I want to tell you something, and I am not directing this to you, but, Chris, I have a lot of friends who, I don't mean like close backslapping friends, but I have a lot of people I know that say they got over the pain pills, and now they're drinking kratom tea. And I just want to say this because I'm not an expert on kratom, but kratom is a natural leaf that grows, and it doesn't need processing. You don't have to turn it into an opiate, but it's a leaf that people have been buying at head shops and some tobacco stores and some marijuana dispensaries. And kratom is not illegal right now. But if you take kratom and make a tea and drink the tea, it'll give you a high exactly like opiates. I'm hoping to God I'm not giving people ideas to go out now and get kratom. And maybe I did. But what I meant to do is tell people who are getting off of opiates that kratom can be just as bad. Kratom can be worse in some cases because the dosing of it depends on the plant, and you don't know how to dose it, and it does build tolerance. Anything that builds tolerance will eventually kill you. It will, because you have to take so much that eventually your heart gives out. Chris, how the hell
I was so lucky that I got off. I mean, at my worst, I was taking on the weekends. I'd get up in the morning and take 4 Percocet, 4 Flexeril, and then I'd run down to the basement to my stash of vodka to give it a good punch. And
how the hell did you survive 30 years?
I think my size. At that point, I'm 6'4", 250 pounds, so somebody was watching over me.
Holy crap. You know, Chris, it's a good point. And really, you know how they say contact your lawmakers? But I really mean that. I mean, if the states are going to get money, I haven't heard about the settlements and who gets the money. But you know, grants for rehab really should be at the top of the list. You know, I mean, when you think about it, federal money is being used for everything. It's even paying rent for a lot of deadbeats in California. Now, I'm not saying everybody's a deadbeat who's not paying rent, but there are a lot of people taking advantage of it. So in California, the people who didn't pay rent are going to have their back rent paid. And then the people who toughed it through get nothing. I just don't think it's fair. Jeff Vick, we asked to look up a transmission on a CVT transmission for a Nissan and to see if it was covered by any warranties, extended warranties, service bulletins, or anything for Phil. And what did you find, Jeff, with his VIN number?
His was not part of that campaign, no. The only recalls I see open on the vehicles, it has to do with a power steering hose. The rest of anything that's related to that transmission, noise from engine mounts and some leak repair type information, but Jeff, nothing as far as extending the warranty.
Let's just say other models with the same type transmission had a recall, or not a recall, but an extended warranty, or whatever they do. Could he make the argument, hey, I got the same transmission?
Well, the likelihood is it's not the same transmission. There's several versions of that CVT. They're different sizes. They have different valve bodies. They are different units.
Okay, so you see nothing covering his vehicle?
Nothing outside of the regular manufacturer's warranty.
All right, so Phil, it looks like you just have to find a good transmission shop. Phil, I don't know if he's still there, but I wanted to let him know. 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Norris, you're our expert at checking out cars, diagnosing cars. You don't do repairs. You just do diagnostics, SOS inspections. And you wanted to make a comment. Go ahead, sir.
I have an update on REMA and the van. That
I want to look up that file. Yes, because I want to recap for people what it was. And Rima was 5 kids. She had a van, and she bought it's all she could afford in 1997. 147,000 miles on it. She bought it 2 years ago. In January, the transmission was slipping. She took it to Cotman Transmission at 50th and Ward. Now they recommended a rebuilt transmission, and then they said they needed a power steering pump. She paid $5,800. Now they did the work, but it was done very poorly. And Norris also said, you know, at some point you have to say to people, it's not worth putting the money in this vehicle, and you have to be honest with them. Kevin Calkin, you agree with that? Sometimes,
absolutely,
even if you do the work, even if you did it correctly,
even if you did it perfectly, you're still not going to get value.
Yes, sometimes it's a bad deal for the consumer, and these shops need to at least be honest with people.
Agreed.
So what's the up? Norris, you said the work was dreadful, and it was done terribly, right?
There were many mistakes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what is the update?
I went to Cotman Transmission on Monday and talked to the service manager, Lisa, and David in the shop, their lead tech, and we re-inspected Rima's car together. I showed him everything I saw. He agreed with everything and started in on getting everything corrected.
Wow. Are you kidding me? They're going to actually fix it up?
Yes.
That's great, Norris. We really appreciate that. Wow. That could be cool. So keep us updated on that, and I'll hand it to Cotman Transmission at 50th and Ward. If they decided to go in and fix the problems, that's wonderful. And that'll be good for Rima and her 5 kids.
This one he said he had rust on the frame and stuff, real bad rust. I mean, it was more than you should have just said, I'm not going to do it. I mean, that's what you really seriously got to do it.
What if they still owe?
They might get pissed off at you.
Well, what if they still owe $5,000 on it? If they can't get another car loan, they can't buy anything else.
I'm saying,
there's situations where you're stuck.
I saw them all the time in Montbello.
But at least have the conversation.
Yeah,
that's all.
But even that, somebody might come back at you. right?
Yeah.
Like the guy in the cow suit?
Oh, yeah. I still think that was Mark.
Well, I did have a part-time job at Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
That was so funny.
Well, then you remember that guy did that because I wouldn't do the work.
Right. Wouldn't do
not
it
because I did something.
because he was an ass.
Yeah.
Looking to save money this year? Look at Allstate.
And you identified him as a problem.
Need at the low rates you
We started out
with Allstate, you can lower your rates, not your expectations. Visit allstate.com.
Hey, Doc, weren't you going to get one of those 360?
Okay, right now. My whole house fan, I turned it on last night and I said, thank goodness I have one. It was so hot out. Now, I had the air conditioner on 80, so it didn't get too hot. And then in the evening, when I turned on the whole house fan, the temperatures immediately went down to 76 and then 75, and then the air I turned back down. The whole idea is this: if you use a whole house fan the right way, it'll cool your house down in the evening, in the morning, or keep it cool all night without air. And then when your air does work, it works less because the hot air is driven up and out of the house. The air conditioner has less work to do. QCcolorado.com, 303-800-3419, 800-3419, less than 2 hours to install, no wiring to mess with because it's all remote controlled. I love QCcolorado.com.
All right, for those of us that like a house at 74 degrees or lower, and you might happen to need an air conditioner right now, I want you to check out this deal from the guys at 888 Heating. Check it out. It's unbelievable. Not only will you get a new air conditioning unit, they're going to match up with the new furnace that's meant for it. They're going to put in a whole house humidifier. They're going to give you 5 years to pay with no interest. All of it starting at $8,500. You're not going to get a better deal. They have units in stock right now. If you're shopping for an AC unit, these are your guys. 888heating.com. Their phone number is 888-HEATING. I don't think those should be back to back.
Yeah, that does kind of carry over, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, he mentioned Mark. He says Mark Major. So
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, of course, because that's what Mark always said that he did. He went picketed, but this guy only stuck around for an hour.
He was 45 minutes.
I had, what the hell was the name of that bank?
That bank, I thought you did a house.
No, I've done lots, but it was
You got lots of house suits.
I cannot think of the name. Colorado Business Bank sold to these guys, and they're a bigger bank. I'll think of the name of it. But
Bank of the West?
No, not that big. It's still a smaller one. But they called a commercial line of credit I have on it. They basically said, this was about 08. They said, hey, we're not going to extend it. You need to pay it off in X amount of time. So I went out and I got some of my employees, and we picketed, and I spent a lot of money on these big banners right in front of one of their locations. But I made it sound and I made it look like they were foreclosing on old people. And technically my banner was right. No matter how you looked at it, it was right.
Not accurate, but it was right.
It was accurate, but very, it would squeak through.
It would edit it.
When was this, Mark?
08.
What did the banner say?
I don't remember exactly, but I'll tell you this, it was about 50 feet long.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it cost me, the fucking banner cost me about $800.
Where was this?
It was right here in Colorado.
What was the bank response?
I was listening to the story.
It was a bank. So
okay.
Colorado Business Bank, I had this line of credit with. It's like $500,000.
Yeah.
And they sold to a different company. And the company they sold to said, well, we're going to get rid of the loan. You need to come up with the dough quick. And I'm like, come up with that quick. And at this point, it's 08, man. I'm fucking bleeding left and right. So they were basically threatening to foreclose on a building I own. So what the sign basically said was, God,
you didn't keep it?
I can't think of the fucking name of this goddamn
Did
bank.
it work?
Yes, what was the bank
It actually
response?
did work to a degree. Yes, it did work.
What did the bank do?
Well, ultimately, I ended up selling the building, But instead of them coming in and literally foreclosing on it, they gave me a shitload of time to fucking sell it. In the meantime, I wasn't making any fucking payments.
Right.
That was kind of the start of the Chapter 11 I did with the Goodyears. But the sign said, going back to that, God, I wish I could remember the name of that fucking bank, is threatening to foreclose. Remember, this is like the worst recession ever. There's foreclosures everywhere. I forgot how I should have kept the banner. I forgot how I worded it. But yes, it did work. It did work.
Did you rent it out, the banner? What'd you do with it?
Fucking threw it out.
$800.
So your business where else would you use a fucking banner like that, Dan?
Was it cloth? Was it paper?
No, it's like a plastic. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey, Mark, did your business go bankrupt because of the recession?
Yeah, I was in a Chapter 11.
You traded in for
over 2 years.
Did you come out of it?
Uh-huh. And then as soon as I came out of it, funny enough, fucking Denver took one of my buildings under eminent domain the second I got out of it.
Hi, Tom Martino. I am your troubleshooter. What the hell is that? I made it up. Well, years and years ago, people were calling people that look for troubleshooters and fixing it. So I took on that moniker about, I was like 20 years old. So I guess you would say that was 20 years old, 20 minus blah, blah, blah. Okay, never mind. Anyway, no. Yeah, so anyway, welcome to the show, folks. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. I'm here, and I want you to call about your problems, but I will tell you one that I think, now listen, I have conservative and liberal thoughts both. I do. I have some liberal things about me when it comes to like peoples and rights, and then I have a lot of conservative things when it comes to taxes and work and that kind of stuff. I don't think under any circumstances government should get involved in personal lives, but I do think government has an obligation to get involved in business when business can be patently unfair. Now, I know free enterprise is supposed to be the way of the world, or the way of America. But sometimes, truly, free enterprise is choked out by giants, and it's an unfair advantage. Now, you can argue, well, it's not unfair because they grew from nothing, and anyone can grow from nothing. But when they really monopolize a certain technology, yes, other people can do it as well, but it's not necessarily a level playing field if they stop you from doing it. In other words, if truly it was open competition, I agree. But many times you have big tech like Amazon and those, and they actually thwart other vendors from doing other things with other people, or search engines sometimes, if you don't buy from them, keywords will downgrade you. In other words, it grows on itself. The point I'm making is, I think there are times when some moderate legislation can help. I will say this, that I think Biden did a few executive orders that are really good for small business.
Like what?
Well, there are some executive orders he made, and one thing is a lot of employers were dictating terms as far as when people become salespeople or employees about non-compete clauses. They were making employees difficult for them to move or to promote themselves because they just non-compete clauses were very restrictive. And I know we hear, well, you can't enforce them, but people had to go to court and all that. He made one executive order that basically is going to take all of the teeth out of non-compete clauses. Now, see, I think that's a good thing, Mark, because if you don't take care of an employee and they want to leave, you shouldn't be able to restrict them. I can see maybe you preserve your IP and your trade secrets, but to say they can't work in the same field is ridiculous. Don't you think it is? I think it is, because that takes away
for the most part. But if
that takes away free enterprise.
If I paid a lot of money to train them or to send them to college to get a certain degree or to do something along those lines, I think they'd have to repay me something if they left.
Well, that's a whole different story, though. That's not a non-compete. That would be something
But what happens if
different.
they don't have enough money to repay me?
Well,
there's got to be some teeth and some agreements, but in general, I agree with you.
I mean, if we're going to talk free enterprise, now here's another thing if we're going to talk free enterprise.
But wait. That's an argument against free enterprise. If it's free enterprise, I should be able to set up my enterprise in the way I want to dictate my rules and regulations.
No, because if someone else
This is the government getting into it.
No, listen, because if someone wants to pay your employee more, they won't be able to go to work.
Well, then he should have never agreed to work for me in the first place.
Okay.
I just don't look at that as free enterprise.
Mark, see, you're looking at it. I love the way people look at it when they're from on high. First of all, no, what I mean is if you're desperate for a frickin' job and they say to you, well, the only way you're working with me is you can't work for anyone else for a period of 5 years or whatever, I'm saying that it's not necessarily fair just because it's legal, okay? Because people can be taken advantage of. We know that. I'm not saying it happens all the time. I love this idea that everyone should, fend for themselves, and it's not, but it really isn't free when somebody, an employee, is working their ass off, doing well, and another company wants to pay them more, and you restrict that somehow. I think it's wrong. I think true free enterprise would say, compete for that worker, give them a raise or something. I don't think it's fair to shut them down.
And I'm just talking from the employer side. If I take a kid that's 17, 18, start him out as a GS, like in a shop, work him up, send him to schools to learn how to work on electric cars, send him to this, send him to store manager school, invest $100,000 in this kid, and then they turn around and they get offered a little more.
Then you should have wording in your contracts that they pay for that training or assign it a value. I don't, Mark, I'm sure there's a way of doing it other than saying you can't work in the field, because guess what? If he leaves and doesn't work in the field, you're still not getting paid back. So what the hell? What good did it do you?
There's just a lot of government programs.
A non-compete does not pay you back for the training. It doesn't. But
what it would do is most likely keep that employee there.
Well, okay, artificially, because his worth might be more. Now, you can argue his worth is more because of the experience he got at my place. Then assign a price to it and make them pay you back over time, or maybe have a minimum service time. You have to work with me for so many years to pay back this, or you owe me this. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. The United States military does that. If I send you to school, you give us service or you pay back a part of it. I mean, I'm sure there's a way of doing it without restricting someone from actually working in a field. Here's another thing I like. An executive order by Biden will now allow, without sneaking, safer and cheaper drugs, or safe and cheaper drugs from other countries. You know what? I hate that a pharmaceutical company can charge an American 100 times more for the same drug they sell somewhere else. You know what? That sucks. And if I can get it somewhere else cheaper, if I can get it in India or Canada or Mexico cheaper, why shouldn't I be able to?
You should.
Okay, that's right. Because if you aggregate those costs out fairly, we shouldn't be paying for the world. And that's what's happening. The United States patients are paying for the world to have cheap drugs. I say aggregate that risk and that cost out among everyone, and you pay for cheaper drugs.
But you got to make sure of the quality control, Tom. That's the big issue. It depends on the drug. If you're taking something...
Okay, of course we have to control. Of course. I'm not talking about phony drugs. I'm not talking about counterfeit drugs. I'm talking about the same exact drug, Doc. You know damn well that you can buy the same exact antibiotic from a veterinarian. You can buy it in Canada, and you can buy it in New York City at a pharmacy, and you're going to pay 3 extremely different prices.
No, I agree with you 100%. All I'm saying is just as long as you put in that qualifier that the drugs are the same and they go through the same quality control.
Well, they're the same exact drug we're talking about. The same company making the drug. No, I'm not talking about some guy in his basement manufacturing pain pills or blood pressure medicine.
Let me give you a good example, man. Listen to this. In 2018, insulin prices in the U.S. was $98.70. I don't know how much that is as far as milligrams or whatever, compared to $6 in Australia, $12 in Canada,
drug.
$7 in the U.K.
Yeah, the same drug. Tony, what's going on with your Lincoln Town car?
I'm having a noise from the differential.
How many miles on it, sir? About 92. All right, hold on a second. We'll analyze it. Coming back.
Tell your
Same
smart device to.
drug, it should be the same price. Tell him, get his mother-in-law out of the back.
We got a mic on.
Do you know, like, in a pure world, everything works. You know, socialism works in a pure world if everyone truly is unselfish, but it's not a pure world. If you pay fucking people the same, they won't do the dirty work. So, you know, you gotta, it's weird. And the same with capitalism. In a pure world, it works. In an impure world, it just doesn't always work. Things don't always work all the time. And you gotta fucking get in. That's why we have a government. I mean, I wish that things work. I mean, if you look at true socialism, but you can never have it because we're proving it right now. People can't get paid. You can't pay people for nothing. They won't fucking produce. Yeah. And you got to pay people more who produce more, or they're not going to produce more.
And now you don't have socialism anymore.
And you need
if you tax somebody so they don't make any money, they're not going to make the money.
And unfettered capitalism doesn't work. You need some regulation.
Exactly. Nothing. We don't have pure world.
Because of monopolies.
We just don't have a pure world. Simply Floors Inc. is a website. That's INC. It stands for Incorporated. Simply Floors Inc. That's where you can buy any kind of floor covering you want. But let's face it, you can buy floor coverings from any store, any big box, right? If it's a floor covering store, a big box. So why should you go to this website, simplyfloorsinc.com? I'm going to tell you why. Better prices and better people. That means better installers, better salespeople, a better experience, and people standing behind the product. Simplyfloorsinc.com. Make your own appointment. They come to you. The same can be said about countertops. The Art of Granite is the name, but they do any solid surface countertop on the market. TheArtofGranite.com is the website. Here's what I want to tell you. They love the value they provide. They tear out and haul away for you. They do the bathroom for you and they do the kitchen. And they're happy to give you prices on the phone. All materials are wholesale. You're being charged for fabrication and installation. 303-386-5919. Get a price on the phone. 303-386-5919. I've shut down socialistic arguments every time. Every fucking time. When they start talking about socialism of outcome, because you can't have it. You can have, if you have socialism of opportunity, it'll work. Then if the motherfucker doesn't produce, there is no excuse. But if they have the same opportunity, and you know what? I would love to get big tech in a room and say, if you truly believe in socialism, see, they don't mind paying taxes.
They don't believe in socialism.
No, oh, yeah, they do, Mark. They do. And I'll tell you why they do. Mark, I heard a fucking discussion with a couple hedge funds guys and big tech talking about paying taxes. They're afraid. They live in fear that the masses are going to turn on them. You don't think so? I swear to God, they live in fear of kidnapping. They live in fear of taxes. They live in fear of revolt. They don't want people knowing how much they have, nor do they want people thinking about it too much. So they would gladly, Warren Buffett would gladly say, I don't pay enough tax. They would gladly pay more tax because they're at such a level it would never hurt them. Right. But to the middle class, that would have to pay tax too. It kills them. So a lot of the elite want to pay tax. They want to pay more tax to keep people off their backs. That's really what they want. But true socialism would be if fucking Google and Facebook, Zuckerberg, and all these high-tech cats made their IP, their intellectual property, their raw materials available to the masses. That's socialism of opportunity. Now, how many of those would run with it and make a company like that? Maybe not a lot. But you know what? Those assholes would never do it. So they don't believe in true socialism. Because that's true. If you read Marx, it wasn't about outcome. It was about opportunity. And you know what? These assholes don't want to make equal opportunity. They don't.
Yeah, but Warren Buffett to say he'd gladly pay more tax, he's such a fucking hypocrite because he gets his through stocks. Yeah, he takes $1
He compared his tax to payroll tax, which is not even the same thing.
Right,
Capital gains versus
So
income.
Buffett is a hypocrite when he says that.
But all these ultra.
Well, I agree, but he's for the people. I mean, and people say, "Wow, Warren Buffett." He's a
But
fucking
if you
hypocrite.
heard, give them a fish, don't give them the fish, teach them how to fish. But that's the same way it is. I say the ultra rich, give them your IP, give them your fucking raw material, and let them run with it.
But if it was socialism, they wouldn't own the company. The government.
Well,
would.
but that's why.
That's true socialism. There wouldn't be private enterprise.
You can't have true socialism. You can't have true capitalism.
No, but I prefer regulated capitalism to regulated socialism.
Well, of course, because we just don't. Well, that's because the regulation is self-evident. In capitalism, the system in and of itself regulates itself to a degree, whereas in socialism it doesn't.
Right.
Because you can't make people work. You can't make people do something if they don't have to.
Right. Unless you take away all of their benefits.
Well, that's you're getting away from it then.
Right.
But that's the. I mean, if you go, if you.
But what if everyone, and I mean, had the same fucking opportunity as Biffy and Buffy? What if they did? Now, if they don't do anything with it, don't give them a fucking dime. But they can never complain they didn't have the opportunity. You would take the legs out from every socialist and every capitalist because guess what? Everyone is on a level playing field.
Well, that's what they're trying to do.
I don't know why you think people. Hi, Tom Martino.
You're a troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK. 713-8255. Tony's got a problem with his differential. It's making noise. How? Okay. And so did it just start making noise? Did it start making noise slowly? What's going on?
No, it started making the same amount of noise 2-3 months ago. I was replaced the side bearings, the wheel bearings, but it's making noise, but only when you accelerate. And if you decelerate, it stops the noise.
Now, did you ever have it looked at?
No, I'm trying to find somebody that's reliable and not too expensive.
Right. And why do you say differential?
Well, that's what they call the rear end, is a differential.
Right, but why do you say that's where it's coming from? There are other things in the rear end that could cause that, right?
Well, they told me the bearings could do that, so I replaced the bearings and it's still doing it.
Okay.
Well, you could have pinion bearings making the noise, so it's internal in you already replaced the axle bearings. There's other bearings there.
We have the axle bearings that I replaced.
Yeah, you said the axle bearings, but there's pinion bearings inside the ring and pinion.
Let me ask you this, Sarah. How many miles did you say? I didn't write it down.
92.
92,000. Is this? Let me ask you. When people say they have a rear end job, what do they mean?
Well, you have gears.
Do they mean the pumpkin in the back?
The pump. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, they mean that thing between the axles. What do they do in there? Is it just replace everything?
Not necessarily. A lot of times the gears are fine. You can just go and replace the bearings. There's the carrier bearings, and there's a total of 6 bearings in most differentials. The 2 outer axles, the 2 inner carriers, and then the ring and what they call it, pinions.
So you can just change those and
take
it lines
it all apart,
up everything
put in all
better.
The bearings, resize everything.
Did you say you did all bearings on axles and the pumpkin?
No, I did the axle bearings, which is in the outside by the tire.
Is there a way to check those with tolerance?
From just the way you sounded, though, with the thing accelerating and coming and going, it sounds like a pinion bearing.
So, Tony, what's keeping you from just going to a shop and getting it thoroughly checked? Does that cost to check that out a lot? I mean, you have to tear it up, don't you?
Not necessarily. Sometimes you can pull the drive shaft and you check for play in the pinion, in the yoke, and the differential. You may not have to take it apart. I mean, you have to take it apart to be specific, but you can at least get an idea.
And is this something a general shop can do, or does he go to a transmission shop?
No, most shops can do it. Yeah.
Tony, as I said, the guys that did the bearing, why not go back?
No, I did the bearing.
Oh, so where do you do your own work?
At my house.
It could be as simple as you didn't line them up properly, right? I mean, is it possible when you do your bearings, or are they just self-aligning?
Yeah, they're self-aligning.
They're self-aligning. So
on the axles, they are.
So it's not difficult to do what he did, you're saying?
No.
It's not like he could have done it wrong.
Probably not.
Okay, so what would you do if you had a vehicle like this with what he's describing?
Exactly what he's describing sounds like a pinion bearing. It's internal bearings. He's going to have to get, somebody.
Tony, all I can tell you is, you can try Sheridan Auto Tech, or you can try the referral list, referralist.com, and they could probably find that out in a few minutes. Unless if you want to do the work yourself, Tony, you may want to call SOS Inspections. Have them inspect your car, pay for a diagnosis. Really, I'm serious. So you got SOS Inspections, which is on the referral list, and their website is usedcarcheckout.com. And then you have SheridanAutotech.com. His number is 303-455-7242. Ray, what's going on with you, Ray?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my car back from a Royal Police Pound.
Okay. You called yesterday and said that your car was impounded. Under what circumstances was your car impounded, Ray?
Well, my daughter was driving and they impounded because they had an incident at the house. Some guy got shot, and they took her car. But it was my car. She was driving. But
why was she involved in it? Was she arrested?
Yeah, she was arrested because she wouldn't talk to him.
Okay. She was arrested driving your car. They impounded your car.
Yes.
Now, in Denver, they would have... Hold on, we're going to continue this.
Experiencing pipe leaks or low water pressure is your...
Is that the only one? She was at a party, someone got shot, she got arrested.
She wouldn't talk to the guy.
It was like, it happens every fucking day.
He had an attorney have a judge tell the impound lot to give up his car. Had a judge give him, have his car given up. Judge said brought it in, and the people at the impound lot said you need to go to the DA in Arapahoe County and have him approve it.
Hey, so hold on real quick on what you were saying before. Here's the part I never get about equal opportunity. How do you take, I don't care, just throw a fucking golf ball, whoever it hits first, you take their kid and give them the same opportunity my kid has and your kid. Is he going to go to private school? Is he going to have, a normal... That's what I'm saying. I don't even see how it's fucking possible. Because if you take someone from what we refer to as the projects or something, they're never gonna want to go to college. They're not gonna want to go to high school.
Well,
so when you say give them the opportunity, what does that mean?
One of the reasons they don't want to go is they don't even think it's a prospect.
You don't think I'm recording for you or for the
facility?
Oh, that's right. You used to do it toward.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a culture.
They don't even know it's possible. If they knew it was possible, some of them might latch on to it. But if they don't, fuck them. What I'm saying is, but if they know there's... See, when I was younger, there was... When my father left, after that, there was no prayer to go to college. I was watching people go to college.
Then how'd you do it, Tom? I'll go back to that.
Detectives on vacation.
It's this pulling up by the bootstraps bullshit. It's not going to work for a guy in inner Harlem. They're not brought up that way. I at least had the first few years watching success. But some people don't have the examples I had.
Well, what's the opportunity part? So you just say, okay, you can go to community college, it's free for everyone.
Well, you want to know what the answer is? Charter school. If you watch this show called Waiting for Superman, if they establish charter schools and quotes, they opened a couple in Harlem with 400 openings. There were thousands, several thousands. So this is just a guy.
I know what you're saying, but Mark,
the cops should see.
I think the opportunity is from year zero. If that's not embedded in your kids by the age of 10, it's fucked up.
It would take years for it to correct itself. Because what you have to do is, the kids growing up now, some of them, Mark, you don't understand, they don't even fucking, I mean, there's no prospect of ever enrolled. I'm talking,
well, if it gets released,
expose yourself to them. There are people that are so backward.
What do you mean first crack? You got to pay who pays the first.
You're right. A couple generations may, a couple might flop.
See, that's what it is. When your car is
stolen, eventually, when everyone realizes you don't have to live here to go to college,
you know, granted, people say that too all the time.
Lawyers to do this. You can do it if you have the grace. Eventually, if people know it's possible, they're going to work toward it. A lot of people,
I just still think most of it's all the upbringing. But you're right. Maybe a couple
Everything is the upbringing. You're absolutely right. Because they've done it for so long, they don't even say to their kids,
You're going to make you start educating kids in public school. You allow fucking charter schools where they're
or get vouchers.
I know more deadbeat kids that came from upper class than I do other fucking places.
Why not?
So what I'm saying is, it's the other. Their parents would let them fucking start something, quit something. You fucking name it. They did everything for their kid, or they did nothing.
But if people just had an opportunity, some poor kids will glob onto it.
I agree with you. Some would
rich kids will glob onto it, and some won't. I'm not recommending.
But it's still not the same opportunity as private schools at Harvard. It's still not the same fucking opportunity. Because you can't offer that to everybody, or else the rich will come up with different shit.
No, but if you let these charter schools, 98% of them go on to college.
I know. Charter schools are great. My kids went to charter schools.
But you open them in low-income neighborhoods.
Well, the fucking teachers' unions don't want to do it.
That's the point. That's what I'm telling you.
Well, then why are these people voting for them?
That's the problem.
Started putting two and two,
It is funny.
Follow the trail.
That in the impound. It was
always hold on the impound.
Well, the car was impounded.
Right, I thought maybe the guy white was torn. Good, thank you. So they go when they document it, it has a serial number on. They take it.
So they started looking into it, checking there, and then it's like, yeah, there's a camera that I bought from my same camera.
We were originally scheduled for 3 o'clock.
Over to arrest my guy.
Did they arrest him?
Oh, yeah. This guy's
for theft.
6'4".
All right, well,
like a poster.
I can be there in half an hour. At 11:30. All right, I'll see you then.
Not worth it. What do you get for the camera and sell it? $50?
Take it out of the car you towed and don't even look at the embassy.
Right.
But yeah,
it's not a smart guy. Not a smart guy. No, I tell you what I found pretty young, that petty thieves never get ahead in life.
No.
Unless you make a big score.
No, because they're shortcut artists.
Right.
They don't want to put any time and effort.
Well, not only that, that's what they're doing. That's the easy thing to do. But if you're a petty thief, you're always going to be broke.
Yeah.
Unless you become a drug dealer.
But they're short-sighted. Long-term thinking for them is Friday. I mean, it's,
Yeah. And even then, if you hit a big score, you better be a guy that does a big score and then says, I'm not going to spend any of this for 10 years.
I get guys like that come through the shop that work for me.
Hey, Tom, the boys from Zero Res are 2 hours early. They're supposed to come after 1 o'clock. Oh, no, I thought it was done before. We're putting my house on the market.
2000, whatever his number is.
So if I can come back, I will. I'll see you Monday.
Okay. Can we still assign you something?
Oh, yeah, I'll be on Tom. I'll listen on the radio as usual.
Like 3 days, 4 days,
they'll see.
Have an appointment he forgot about. Things like that. So instead of stacking like another G for the month, in case you have a month where it's not there,
easy.
You just coast. Go to lunch, come back like 2 hours. Oh man, hey, I'm sorry. I got a phone call. I had a kid at school. Every excuse in the world to not be there and work. And I don't understand it.
I really, it really is a mentality. Well, I get this as people, they go to an interview and they get the job and they don't show up the first day.
Oh, I've had,
don't even call in. That to me,
guys deliver toolboxes and not show up.
And then deliver toolboxes.
Mechanics, you hire them, you get the big roll off. Tow truck drops it off.
Their toolbox.
It's in my shop, and they send the tow truck a week later. It's like, sorry, man, I changed my mind. And pick it up. It's ridiculous.
I could never even fathom that you would not show up for work. Oh, Tom, better get in here. You coming in?
Oh,
would you go in? Do you want the Italian unwich? Is that what you want or not?
Sure. Yeah, I'll get that. You get that.
Okay. Do you want anything from Jimmy John's?
Yeah, no, it's good.
Okay. Yeah. So 3 Italian nightclub unwiches. Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK.
713-8255. What's happening this hour brought to you by Genesis Solar, CO.com, the best solar deal in the world. Why? Because you get a 25-year guarantee on all parts, all components, and a 25-year performance guarantee. Performance means if it doesn't generate the electricity and you don't get the savings they promise in writing, you get a check written for the difference every year. GenesisSolarCO.com. Of course, it's Genesis is the same company as Genesis Total Exteriors. Good people. Here's the number for Genesis Solar, a 20-minute free site evaluation to see how much you will generate. It's free, no obligation. Why not find out? 720-667-4760. 720-667-4760. Welcome to the show. We're having a spirited discussion on and off the air. You see, if you listen off the air, if you listen to our YouTube and Facebook feed, you will find a lot of discussion totally different sometimes during the break. You will also find what we eat and drink. By the way, Kevin Calkins here from Sheridan Autotech. It's Car Day. We'll take car problems, but other things as well.
Hey, remember that moving problem yesterday?
The one
Elaine.
where, which one was it? Where two households were being moved with two separate contracts.
That's the one.
Okay, let me recap.
Yep, go ahead.
Two separate contracts and two moves. They were doing it together, mother and daughter, but two separate contracts. The daughter canceled and forfeited her deposit, $1,000. The mother, Elaine, decided she wanted to go through with the move. They picked up her stuff, put it in storage, and then said, we can't move you now. Pay up. They want her to pay what she paid, surrender that, and then hire another company. And under the premise that she got some value, meaning Roadrunners, the movers, went and picked up her stuff and put it into storage. My contention is, if she had planned to pick up her stuff and put it in storage and wait till she found a place, then send for it, that has value. But if she had planned to pick up her stuff and move it, that extra step of putting it into storage did not have value. In fact, it cost her because now she has to hire a company to go get it, reload it, and bring it to her. So it depends on what the original contract was. If the original contract called for Roadrunners to pick up her stuff and put it in storage until she found a place and then take it from storage to her, she could easily hire another company to pick it up and take it to her. But if the original contract had Roadrunners picking it up and delivering it, that extra step of storage did harm to her. They breached the contract, in my opinion, if everything she said is true, and she should get a refund. What is going on, Mark?
Well, we reached out to the company. Dan talked to him yesterday, and the owner said, oh, we don't know anything about it. I'll look into it. Listen to this, man. This really sucks. It turns out that locally we have a company called Roadrunner Moving and Storage. In fact, they're in Inglewood. It's not them. When I looked more carefully at Elaine's contract, it's the exact same name, but guess where it's out of? Go ahead and guess. It's out of Florida. Completely different company. We're dealing with another moving company out of Florida. And if anything, the problem is I was getting ready to go serve these people and everything else. There's not much we're going to be able to do. I don't think one time we've been able to do much when it comes to a moving company out of Florida.
Now, what Mark is saying is, for some reason, for the past 40 years, when we've had a moving problem, 90% of them have been from Florida-based movers.
Yep.
Why is that?
And this one's interesting because I really think they advertise on Google for this area around here, and people think they are the local one. So it's a little mischievous.
That's why the Roadrunners here locally has a good review.
They've got great reviews. And we thought when the owner got involved, oh, this will be taken care of quick. Maybe we just have a rogue employee. But nope, this one is 150 Northwest 176th Street, Miami, Florida. Now, I haven't looked that up yet, but my guess is it's either a mailbox, etc., or like a 7-Eleven. They all are. Or it's some kid. I get so frustrated on these.
Did you try calling down in Florida, the company, just for the hell of it?
No, I will for sure.
Did we tell the owner? Did we tell the woman?
She actually,
Elaine?
She kind of thought that.
Okay, she knew that maybe it wasn't the local company?
Well, after she talked to the owner yesterday of the local one.
Okay, so we got them in touch. Here's what I want to say. This is wrong.
They hold your stuff hostage. You have to use a mover you can trust. If it's the lowest bid and they're out of Florida, don't touch it. If it's the highest bid and they're out of Florida, don't touch it.
Why? It's terrible, but I got to tell you, man, this is a fact that about 90% of all moving problems have come out of Florida. Florida-based.
There must be something in Florida.
And it's specifically either the Orlando area or South Florida.
Miami, too. That's
Miami. What I mean. That's what I mean. South Florida or Orlando. Why are bad movers in Florida? Suze, maybe you can do us a favor. Can you call the Florida Attorney General's office and see if they have anyone in consumer affairs that in general can tell us why there are so many moving complaints out of Florida-based businesses? Seriously, see if they noted that. Just ask them if they've noted that. The Attorney General would be the one I'd ask probably. I'd like to know that. All right, so Kevin Calkin, Sheridan Auto Tech. Let's take some calls. First of all, Ray, this impounded vehicle, who was telling? Oh, Deputy Doc had worked on that. Doggone it. Deputy Doc, if you're listening, if you can call us. Ray, Deputy Doc told me there was a procedure for your getting your car out. You just had to show it to somebody or something. Hey, damn. Can you call Deputy Doc?
I don't understand. If his daughter had the car and she had permission to use it and she was arrested for some reason and they impounded the car, why wouldn't someone have to pay to get it out?
Guys, you should let Ray tell you about it. Went down in California. They spent $60,000 or something getting the car, and the prosecutor here is pissed or something. Ray was telling me this at the end of the show yesterday. It was interesting.
Ray, first of all, Mark, if a car is legally impounded, he's not complaining that he has to pay to get it out. He's complaining that they won't release it.
Oh, they're saying it was part of a crime, so we're going to keep it?
Well, you see, they don't have the same nuisance abatement law
as Denver.
If they did, by the way, Ray, you'd never see your car again, ever. I mean, it would be gone. Whether she was guilty or not, it doesn't matter.
They'd sell it.
Yeah. So, Ray...
I got a court order from a judge in Arapahoe County.
Okay. And we need to call Deputy Doc.
Hold on, just help me understand this. The court order says what?
To release the car.
For who to release it, though? The impound yard?
Yeah, an impound yard out there, the M&M's, but it's a raw impound, police impound yard.
Do you actually have the order in front of you where you can read it?
Yeah.
Read it.
It's telling them to release my LG flip phone, Cricket wireless phone, and my 2002 silver Hyundai Santa Fe. It's been in there since June 16th.
Okay, now the order, who is this order written to? It says, can you send us that? Hey,
send us a picture
Ray, can you send us that order? We want to help you get your car. Is there a way, or even taking a good picture? Suze, work with him on line 2 to get a copy of that order. Meanwhile, Deputy Doc, I know you're listening. Call us. You were telling me today, Tom, all he has to do is this, this, and this, and he can get his car back. And I wasn't listening to you as usual. I'm just kidding. Bennett, what's going on with you, Bennett?
Hey, Tom, just a quick question.
Yes, sir.
I have a 4-wheel, all-drive Toyota. When should I be rotating?
What kind of Toyota, Bennett?
It is a RAV4.
Do you love it?
Oh, it's outstanding.
Really? How long have you had it?
I've had it. I bought it in June of 2017, and right now I just turned 10,000.
Is it brand new?
Brand new.
You know, I got to say...
So you drive a lot, Bennett.
No, he doesn't drive at all, right? 2017 Toyota RAV4. And you know, I got to ask something straight up, Kevin. Our Toyotas must be good. We don't get a lot of complaints about Toyotas.
They're one of the top.
But I will tell you this. We don't get a lot of complaints about Toyota. But you want to know something else? The worst company in the world to deal with, if you do have a problem, Toyota.
Probably, yeah.
And you know why I think that is? Because they don't get a lot of complaints.
They don't know how to do it.
Honest to God.
Yeah.
Now, Deputy Doc is on.
Hey, real quick, though. Hey, is Bennett still up?
Yeah,
Bennett.
Yes.
Hey, did your cancer come back? Suzanne was saying that.
He may not want to talk about that on radio. Hold on a second. Just wait. Let's find out if he wants to talk about it before we do that, because I want to take Deputy Doc before the break, and then Bennett probably doesn't mind, but I just need to get Doc in first. So, Deputy Doc, what about that guy what about that guy that had his car impounded?
No, you didn't assign it to me.
Oh, but were you telling me something about it though this morning?
Well, I was just refreshing your memory as to what he told us.
Oh, okay.
But at the end of the show, he was on at the very end of the show yesterday, and I had left to go see Mary at her house. Remember?
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought. Okay, so here's what we're going to do then. We need to put someone on to work on this to find out why he's not getting it, but we need to get a copy of the court order first. Bennett, hang on. We'll come back to you and more coming up.
So he really doesn't listen to him.
No, I don't. I swear to God, he was saying something about it.
I heard something too.
He was. I don't know.
All he has to
something to do with getting a car.
I remember that he was saying all he has to do is this, this, and this. And I went, oh, okay. I thought he had worked on it.
He probably needs to get the court order to the DA for a
I want to see this so-called court order.
But even still,
yeah.
I mean,
well, the reason he got a court order is because the impound lot didn't show up.
Hold on, guys. You know, when people call the show, they want to know about wills and trusts. They want to know about beneficiaries' deeds. They want to know about estate planning. We refer them to BlakeHarrisLaw.com. In fact, we get Blake on the phone. I want to say something. The most important call you will make when it comes to your life is estate planning, because it's about really protecting you while you're alive as much as after you pass. BlakeHarrisLaw.com. Here's what I love about Blake. You ask questions, I'm going to give you the special number, and he'll answer them, and it'll be free of charge. So ask all your questions. He only charges flat rates for what he does. 833-ASK-BLAKE. 833-ASK-BLAKE. I love a company that's easy to do business with, like the Art of Granite. It's so easy to understand. When they do a counter for you, whether it's granite, quartz, or marble, or any solid surface, even artificial stuff, they will do wholesale on all materials, and then do the bathroom free and tear out and haul away free. So, call the Art of Granite to get your price on the phone. 303-386-5919. 386-5919.
You know, owning a home is just a bit easier or more affordable. If you're a veteran or on active duty, a VA loan could be the perfect thing for you. This is Ross Kaminsky for my friends at American Financing, where I've done 2 mortgages, reminding you that VA home loans can provide you with significant monthly and long-term savings. There's no down payment, there's no mortgage insurance required, they have some of the lowest rates in the industry, and if you already have a home loan, that's no problem. You can refinance any existing mortgage into a VA loan, and you can even access 100% of your home's value, meaning a lot more money for you and your family. So don't wait to take advantage of $1,000.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Savings, especially when it's still near all-time lows.
Oh, what was I going to say?
American Financing today is the best thing for you.
That's something very intelligent to say.
Hey, if you guys had to buy a new washer, which brand would you go with?
Samsung. Okay. That's what I would do. But my sister-in-law, who sells all these appliances, top to bottom, to the stars and all that, she swears by Bosch.
It's high-end.
Well, I don't know. I don't know one way or another. Have you ever used it, Mark? Bosch? Yeah. I will say this. I don't know. I know that Samsung for me has been a dream. It's electronic. I love it. But She did a pair of jeans of mine in her botch. I had, you know how sometimes jeans knees are still a little off color. These jeans came out like new, like they were newly stonewashed. I mean, I noticed a difference. Now, I don't know if it was botched.
What's the voucher zip code?
What, honey?
What's the voucher zip code? 80161?
80231.
80231.
Washer and dryer you're doing?
Well, I don't, probably just said, yeah, the washer for sure.
I have a 20-some-year-old Samsung. It's just perfect. The front load. I don't know if I'd ever do a front load again.
Honey,
well,
put it on.
Because my girlfriend wants
put it on my
front load to blankets and stuff.
Okay. The thing on the front load is that gasket goes after a while.
Yeah, that's not your stuff. So.
Yeah.
Because I'm not, you know.
Oh, I was
my
thinking,
girl.
I hit control room. I'm sorry, maybe disarm me, maybe. I'm sorry. Oh, listen, speaking of which, I'm going to ask for sound on these computers shortly. Not yet.
Well, they're lighter.
No, I mean, which ones? I mean, you know, the computer.
Easier, they're cheaper.
Hold on. No, don't put me up until...
The dryer's not cheaper, it's cheaper to run. You know, but, boy, I'll bet you a gas dryer's half the weight of the electric. Maybe not half, maybe a third.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah, because the electric.
Well, it's a utility room anyway. I mean, the water,
right,
everything's right
right.
there.
Once
so
you get it in there, yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. On it, this Samsung is really cool. 20-some years.
So I haven't shopped for one in 15 years. I mean, when we got this, you know.
What is it again? A dishwasher?
Washer.
Full washer.
I'm trying to think what we got. I bought them at Costco. That's a front loader. I wouldn't get a front loader.
That's right.
The next ones we get, I'll switch back. The dryer doesn't matter, but I'll get a top one. I just think they're more efficient, and I think they drain the water better.
I don't know if they're more efficient, but like I say, that gasket.
See, I've never had mine leak, and ours is at least 10 years old. But everything, if you go to Costco, oh, by the way, Costco will give you a 2-year warranty on them compared to 1-year factory. They'll actually warranty it for 2. Yeah.
They deliver and haul and do all that stuff.
Everything.
Yeah.
So we bought our fridge there, and the fridge broke. And it's the first time I bought an aftermarket warranty because it was Costco. And they sent me a check for $3,000 or whatever I paid for the fridge.
I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. Okay, now.
Broke after.
Bennett has a 2017 Toyota RAV4. He's asking about rotating tires. First and foremost, let's talk about tires on an all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. When you do change tires, not rotate. When you change, should you change all 4?
You almost have to.
Even, okay.
Yeah, right. Because the wheel speeds and everything will be different.
Now, if you get a flat, then you use the donut for just to get to a shop.
Temporary's no big deal. Yeah.
Okay, now, what about rotating tires? I mean, I have never rotated. Do I? Or maybe they do rotate when I do my oil change. They do. Okay. Okay. When do they have to be rotated?
Almost every time you change the oil, you should rotate.
And when you say
5,000
rotate,
to 7,000,
front to back, back to front, how is that done?
Typically front to back.
And side to side or not?
Not necessarily, no, unless you're getting some strange
wear.
What
does rotation of tires do?
Just keeps them all wearing evenly, so you have the same thickness of tread in the front and the rear.
Yeah, a lot of people on these all-wheel drives, they'll go 25,000 miles, never rotate them. They got 2 bald tires and 2 that have 50% tread, and then when they go to buy tires, they find out they got to buy all 4 because there's such a differential between the tread depth.
Oh, so you'll get longer life.
Well, when you Bennett, get premature wear in your transfer case.
Bennett, what was your specific question about rotating tires?
Well, that you just answered it. I've heard anywhere from up to 3,000 miles every time, and I just thought that was too early.
Okay, and by the way, Bennett has been calling for a while. We got to know his voice and then got to know him. Also, Ernie, I don't know if Ernie, and the reason I'm bringing up Ernie volunteered to us. He had cancer, and he was getting different treatments, and then we like hearing from Ernie from time to time. We've had other listeners over the years that keep us abreast. And Mark was thinking about you and asked about if your cancer came back, but I wanted to make sure, because obviously if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to, but it's up to you. Do you want to talk about it?
Sure, Tom.
All right, let me ask you this then. When did you first get a diagnosis of cancer, the very first diagnosis?
That was in August of 2019.
Now, what happened in August of 2019?
Well, I woke up and I had a severe pain in my chest. Then I had tests done, and they said you have a 6-inch tumor.
But it was just one day. It just happened to hurt.
One day.
Wow. And it was and you had a tumor. And where was the tumor?
It was pressing against my esophagus.
So, wow, that's weird that just one day. Then did they immediately take it out?
Well, no, what had happened, Tom, I went in and they put me on radiation for 29 treatments and 5 chemo, and I was cancer-free.
Wow.
Up to a month ago.
So wait a minute. So that in 2019, that radiation and chemo worked for this time. And then you said until a month ago. What happened a month ago?
Well, I went in to just have another colonoscopy check, and they said that it came back about the same spot, but not as bad. So what they have me doing now, they have
Is it in the form of a tumor or just some errant cells?
Well, that's what I'm going to find out today.
Okay, so they detected cancer in the same area.
Correct.
Okay, so what are you going to find out today?
Well, what they put me on, Tom, is a pump that you wear at home, and it has chemicals that go into your vein or your port. And they tell me I have 11 treatments of those, and it takes about, 2 hours, and then you have to wear the pump at home for 3 days. And I've been wearing it, and I've had absolutely no problem, but this is the first time I've worn it.
Is that chemo? Is that a form of chemo?
Yes, it is. It's 2 different drugs, and like I said, you have to wear the pump for 3 days. You don't hear it. You don't feel it.
Well, our thoughts are with you, man, big time, and when we'll go out to dinner again when you're done with this stuff. But this is kind of, well, for either of you, but radiation and chemo on a tumor, like the first treatment he had, does it shrink the tumor? Does it just get rid of the cancer in the tumor and kill all the cells? What does it do?
I don't know. It's supposed to. First of all, chemo kills a lot more than the cancer cells. And of course, cancer cells are healthy cells. They're the healthiest.
Well, Tom,
and then radiation targets the specific tumor and is supposed to shrink or eradicate. Go ahead.
But I was going to say, on the original cancer diagnosis, it got so bad that my throat was like full of glass. I couldn't swallow. I couldn't eat. I went into dehydration. I wound up in the hospital for 6 days. And then I had to come home with feeding tubes. But that was the worst. And this time around, I don't feel a thing.
Well, it's good that you got checked, right? They said so you were getting checked regularly.
I get checked every 3 months.
Oh, my goodness. So good. Then you did catch it right away. That's really good.
Yeah.
Now, Bennett, were you ever a smoker or anything?
Yes, Tom. When I was in the service, I smoked, and I say I want to quit. I'm 76 now, and I think I quit at 49.
Uh-huh. All right. And are you married?
Oh, absolutely. 55 years.
55 years. Wow.
His kid's a cop.
How many years have you been happily married? It's a joke, Bennett.
I know.
Anyway.
You know what? Wouldn't have been for her, I wouldn't be alive today.
Well, thank you, and of course, we always know you're listening. 303-713-TALK. 713-8255. Okay, now, Priscilla's got a question about Midas. Go ahead, Priscilla.
Hi, Tom.
Hi.
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago, we were driving our Toyota Tundra, and it was, when you stop at a light, it was like it took a few seconds to pick up the power, and it just did that twice on the way home. And the next day it did it again, and so I thought, well we used to go to Toyota all the time, and then we decided it was so expensive.
Now, did you tell us everything about your vehicle, make, model, and year, and miles?
Oh, it's 2006. It's the Toyota Tundra.
Yeah, they're good.
And,
they're nice. They're nice.
Oh, I love it. I love to drive it. It's been the best car we've ever owned. So we decided to go to Midas down the street from us.
Oh, you didn't tell me how many miles, though?
I'm not sure.
Okay, but is it over 100,000?
It might be. I'm not really sure.
Okay, and so...
They don't have the car here. They've got it right now.
Okay, so what do you need to know?
Well, I wanted to ask your advice and your opinion when I get done telling you this.
Okay.
I took it in, And before we took it in, my son said, take it over to the that parts place. I forgot the name of it, where they do the diagnostic with the numbers.
Well, any one of them does it, but anyway, it doesn't matter what happened.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that. So I took that paper over. My husband and I took it over there to the Midas and told him, I said, it looks like it needs a solenoid. So they had the car and ended up keeping it a few days. They said I think they called it like a tray.
Wait a minute, the parts place did that?
No, the Midas. They replaced it's called like a tray and everything that goes with that. Well, with the labor and all of that, it was $2,623, I believe. I've got the paperwork down.
Well, we'd have to see this because I have no idea what you're talking about. A tray.
Yeah, I don't know.
What were the symptoms again?
It was delayed. Sometimes when you stepped on the gas from a stoplight, it would delay picking up power. And then it would go. It took about 2 or 3 seconds, and then
that could be something so minor. Okay, all right.
Okay, so it did that, and you have no warning when that happens. It just happens one time, and then it does it again. And
yeah. Anyway, so what is your question?
Well, okay, I'm going to tell you how much we spent on all the parts, all the labor for them to keep that car for a few days, get all that done. Their engine light was still on. And
so you went ahead and spent $2,000.
It was $2,623. The first amount.
Wow.
So then we brought it home, had it 6 days. I came back home from the gym 2 times coming home. It did it again. It wasn't bad. It just 2 or 3 seconds, and then it would pick up. And then I called him. He says, bring it in on tomorrow. Or, no, this is a week and a half ago. Bring it in. They put a solenoid in it. And, okay, they got the solenoid in. That's when I got it home for a week. I got mixed up here for 6 days. Had it 6 days. Took it in on yesterday morning. He said, bring it in Thursday morning. Engine light's back on.
Well, okay, so maybe
and
what you ought to do is get someone else to look at it. It sounds to me like they don't know what they're doing. I mean, it's just a back and forth and a back and forth. I'm going to let Kevin weigh in on this and figure out what's going on. Hold on.
So what was it, Kevin?
Yeah, it was the wrong shelf or the wrong rack.
So the tray to me is over all those solenoids and everything already in.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a valve body and a transmission or what they did, but I didn't know Midas did that. On transmissions.
Oh, it's a valve body and everything.
Well, I don't know if that's what she's calling the tray. I don't know.
Here's a second card.
Again, I'm sure they replaced everything. That's the easiest thing. A lot of people do that, right?
And depending, there could have been more than one issue. There could have been a few other things. I mean, I don't even know what they changed or what codes they started with. I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns.
Well, codes usually don't get down to parts.
No, codes are just the system. So, I mean, if you pull a code to determine if you're going to go, like, ignition, fuel, transmission, I mean, that's just a jumping off point. That's all it is. Yeah, you can't, and that's why AutoZone, those places do codes for free.
Right.
So you have an action sensor code, so you have 4 action sensors. Here you go, $300.
Right.
This will fix it.
So here's the thing. So on my kid's car, it's gas cap. So the gas cap is supposed to totally seal, right?
Mm-hmm. He's trying to get your attention.
Get Found Fast. I've talked about this company time and time again. Get Found Fast. It's a place to get a free analysis of your website. They want to be your company for SEO, for digital marketing, for doing your website enhancements, whatever you need when it comes to the internet. They can help you. GetFoundFast.com will do a free analysis to show you what they do. With no obligation, GetFoundFast.com. We use them. You should too. GetFoundFast.com. You know someone else that I use, and I've used them 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 times or more. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com. I've used him for both selling a property and buying them properly. Another thing I can tell you about Frank, he has saved me so much money when it comes to buying. And then when it comes to selling, he holds the record right now for what he sold for me at Landmark. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com. Simply no one nicer or better for buying or selling. And he does free market valuations right now. 303-920, it's 303-920-1622.
You know, there's a small handful of companies that have been on our referral list for over 15 years. One of them's 888 Heating, and the deal they have right now is mind-blowing to me. You get a new air conditioner, a new furnace, a whole home humidifier, 5 years, no interest to pay for it all, starting at $8,500. Depends on how big your house is, of course, but the pricing's unbelievable. The service is unbelievable. Check them out at referrallist.com or give them a call, 888 Heating, and the website's 888heating.com.
But they're supposed to perfectly seal, right? The gas cap should just seal.
Yeah.
So how can it not? How could it have been a gas cap when, if it's a hot day, you pull it out and go, you know, isn't that sealing?
Yeah.
So how could that have been the...
Well, you're assuming that the first thing was the gas cap.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. It's probably something else. Yeah. Much more expensive.
There it is.
And it could have a small leak. I mean, it could, you know, if it's cold, it's not sealed.
Or maybe he might not have went through the code. He might not have been on there all the way.
Yeah.
So I thought tire rotations, you don't go side to side anymore.
You know, Governor Polis repealed the ban on surcharges for credit cards.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No, I
See, I
didn't.
don't think Costco
Must have some good lobbyists.
Okay.
You can crisscross.
No,
I
that's
thought it was
amazing.
Going to the back, not in the front.
I'm going to go test
So
drive.
take the ones in the front crossing from the back.
You can do that?
Yeah.
Okay. But I was told like the radials, the way they do, is that like one of those?
I can't believe you just said the radials, like there's something
Like there's
else.
something else.
Right. But that,
There's
well, when
all
radials,
bias flies on.
no, when radials came out, that's what they said. You could only go one
Steel
direction.
belt-
They got
steel
to
belt radial. Yeah.
I mean, back when
You
they're-
probably still think tires are made out of rubber too, right?
Well, they are. Well, I mean, rubber, not rubber
Yes.
trees, but
Synthetic.
it's
Here's
synthetic
the
rubber.
court order.
Hey, how do I check?
There's just
besides
one weird
just
thing
drive
about it. It's not
I'm
signed.
looking at a little Honda.
I don't know if
with,
that makes a difference or what.
59,000, but it's a standard. How do I just? I mean, if the clutch feels okay, it probably is.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not grabbing all the way at the top or the bottom, you want it to hit in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, Norris, check it out.
Well, I might if I like it. I'm going to test drive it first.
Sure.
I mean, if the clutch feels bad.
What, is that a drag behind?
I don't know if
Yeah,
maybe the
there's so
stamp
few of these
makes it
fucks.
signed or
Are
what.
there any automatics that you can just do something quick?
I don't understand it.
Put 'em on a
This
trailer.
is what he sent.
Yeah, put off 4 wheels.
You can't have anything with the transmission engaged. It's got to just be dead.
Either that or triple
This
drive.
doesn't
You put it
really
up on a, you know, a dollar.
address.
You could. The rear wheel, you could
It
just.
grants
yeah,
a
normal
voucher.
drive.
That's trouble drive.
We have to see.
I
the
guess
motion
you could
because
technically. I mean,
the
there'd be
motion
nothing
against.
quickly. You get rid of the
See,
drive
this-
shaft, but fuck, man.
He says that's
No,
before,
I'm
I
talking
mean, I
about
don't know,
real drive.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Just strange. It's not, you would
So
figure.
you're
it'd
just
be
going to
signed.
absolutely tow it. You're gonna
And
have
is
it
his
on
name
just
Ray?
two wheels
It
and
is.
everything.
Why
No,
is
you
he
want it
independent?
quick.
That's what
the
I
part.
wondered, unless
That's
it's
what's
because
so
he owns the
nice about
property.
these, because then when you
And that's what makes it
stop,
offended?
I can disconnect it from the Air Force One system in 5 seconds, and it's ready to drive. I mean, there's no
Geez,
bullshit.
yours would be long as hell with a vehicle. What's your total length going to be?
45 plus whatever the
Right.
car and probably
Oh
another.
yeah, but you're allowed to have over 45 if it's articulated, which the trailer is.
I saw a guy towing a fucking. He had
The fifth wheel with a boat.
with a boat
G
and a
forward.
fucking trailer.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking, holy fuck, man! If you ever had to, you have to plan that just right when you hook it up. You can't fucking stop for gas. You can't do shit,
Right.
man.
Well, you can
maybe
stop.
some of those big truck stops.
Yeah.
No, I mean, what I used to do.
Yeah, but you never had two.
Oh no.
You never towed like a boat and a
Of
trailer.
course not. Of course not. But I had a quick. Sometimes if I had to disconnect it.
The car.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes only a second, right? The new ones take only a second.
Right. And yeah, towing a car, I towed it flat.
You don't even know it's there, do you?
No, not at all. I towed it flat. I didn't have a trailer.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
That's part of the problem. we had a guy who was towing. We went to impound a U-Haul trailer. It was in the ramp at 6th and Wadsworth.
Okay, guys.
We got got there.
Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK. Don't forget to get an insurance checkup. It's free of charge, and we have proven on the air live when people called in, we got people sometimes twice or 3 times the coverage and saved them $1,200 a year, $100 a month. Think about that. You will almost always save money, but if you have a great deal, it'll be confirmed. Truly, a free insurance checkup. 303-996-9000. I got the court order. Ray wants to get his car back. It was impounded. It was impounded because of a crime. She was driving it. She was charged with a crime. The car was impounded. Ray.
Yes.
This court order, couple things. It names you as the defendant. Why?
They came after me too.
Well, hold on. What did they come at? That's a big deal. What did they come after you for?
Oh, because I wouldn't tell them where my daughter was.
Okay, so hold on. They came after you as an accessory after the fact, or what?
Yes.
Okay, so you are involved in this. I mean, it's a whole different ballgame now. You are directly involved in this case. You said you weren't involved in the case. She just happened to be driving your car and it was impounded. So, how has the case against you been adjudicated right now?
Everything's been done. It's clear. I'm clear.
Okay.
I'm out of it. I'm in the clear.
And how about her?
She's still on maybe a year's probation.
Okay. Now, on this thing here, it says the order, motion to return property. And it says it grants your motion. But what is the motion? Who was the motion? See, without knowing what the motion was, this simply says we grant your motion. What was the motion? Who was it against?
It was against the DA, Assistant DA, Andrew Steers.
Okay, so it was definitely against the district attorney.
And the detective. They neither one of them. I went out to the impound yard to get it, and the guy out there that runs the impound, he would not release unless she got information from Hubert, the detective, or Andrew Steers. And I told him, I said, this is a court order from the judge. He said, I don't care.
Okay, also, it doesn't seem to be signed, but there's a stamp. That might be in lieu of that, probably. I don't know.
That's all you need is a stamp and plus what it says to return. My cell phone, my flip top.
But here, okay.
Well, they should be held in contempt then.
But also, it doesn't say, it doesn't say that, where does it say it's granted, the motion? I mean, it just says this matter. Before return the court, it says property and return the court, having reviewed the motion and being otherwise fully advised hereby, and it doesn't check either one. There's two things, denies or grants. Neither one of those are checked in this copy. Why is that?
All he had to do is put a stamp on there. It goes on the first one where it said to release the car.
Yeah, but
the Honda.
Okay, it doesn't say that though. I mean, Ray, I don't doubt you, but it doesn't say that. It's not checked.
The stamp says granted by court, though.
But what granted? The denial? I mean, I don't know. I guess the stamp may say it. Who knows? Maybe that's what you need. I don't know.
Because the motion is for the return of the property, and it has been granted.
Let's get Joe Lazzara on next and talk to him.
This is nuts. If this is all legit, I mean,
yeah, I know.
That's contempt.
I don't understand it, but we're going to get we're going to get our criminal defense attorney on to look at this, all right? Hey, Jack, I noticed you've been waiting about this water under the bathtub. If we can get started on it. Oh, so he's not there anymore.
We have his number. We'll try him back.
We'll come right back to him.
We had that one time. We had a leak in our ceiling. So if you picture the drain under a bathtub on the second floor or wherever, it goes up to where the drain on the hole in the tub goes. And something worked itself loose there, man. We had to come right down into our kitchen.
Wait. Why did you decide to get rid of mine?
I don't care. But
I need to do
because I haven't done a master forever.
But he'll work it in. Yeah. I need to do fix it. He'll work in the master somewhere else. Okay. So I do need to do fix it. So give him another. Does he have another 30 here somewhere he can do?
I'll do a Paragon.
Hey, no, he'll fill in. He'll fill it in. Okay, I'll do it next break then. Okay, as long as you move. Okay, I didn't want to nix it. That's great. That's great. Okay.
What are we doing?
No, I can't do it before the show open. No. Can't do that. Okay. All right, thanks. All right. All right, so I'll nix pain care then, and you'll move it. Okay, good.
But the break's going to be the same time.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Just tell them to take a picture of that, too. They should not be booked together, ever.
Phones on this side.
Okay, I want to tell you about Fix It 24/7 and the foresight that they had. George, the owner, told me, I think it was last year, we're going to have supply chain problems with furnaces and air conditioners. And he bought up a bunch. And I swear to you, when I started saying that last year, I was criticized by people in the field who said, we do not have supply chain problems. Guess what? George was right. We do have supply chain problems. If you're going to need an air conditioner or furnace, you're either going to pay out the nose or you're not going to get it in time when you really need it. Don't wait till it gets extremely cold. And right now, if you need air, don't suffer. HVAC systems, full systems, as low as $77 a month. Now, I want you to call for details. And they have other options available, but they have stocked up. All right? Fix it 24/7. FixMyHome.com, 720-526-3939. I want you to call someone else, too, the Art of Granite, to get a price for your granite countertop or marble or quartzite, whatever you want, they can do. Okay, so they can do any material. And they can do kitchens and baths. They do the bath free when you have the kitchen done. They also tear out hallway free. So, wholesale on all materials. Get your price. They are proud of their prices. TheArtofGranite.com. Get a price here, 303-386-5919. 386-5919.
We had a lady call in. She had a skylight leaking. She called her homeowners at the insurance company, and they said, okay, you know what, we're going to spend $800 and fix it. She called us up to ask whether it's worth it. She had a $500 deductible. We said, we want you to call Matt at Paragon Services. Matt got her, you're not going to believe this one, but I swear to God this happened, $80,000. The insurance company looked over all the water damage that occurred up in her ceiling. It was absolutely unbelievable. When you have a claim with your homeowners or commercial policy, call Matt. 719-726-0020, 719-726-0020.
Hey, did you ever do the hormone rose thing? I know you had.
No, I'm kicking around, still kicking it around, yeah.
Mark, are you still doing it? Did you ever get retested? For what? Testosterone, the hormone rose?
We're gonna go back in pretty soon and get it.
But you lost your blood pressure, I mean that.
It's all normal again. They got mine up to fucking almost 2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy, dude. It was fucking crazy. I was at 18.
Swinging from the trees or
1,850. No, you would think so, but it really doesn't. It elevates your blood pressure, your heart rate. Really, those are the main things.
Elevate your blood? No, you don't.
No. So you don't want to be over. You want to be about 1,000. Some people say 1,100.
Sure.
But when you get up to 1,800, man, your body it starts to make estrogen.
Yeah.
So the estrogen, they put me on pills because it was so high that just basically kills estrogen. But it was way the fuck too high. So I had to wait a certain amount of time, and I'm there now, so now I'll just go in and get repelted. But it's been a while. One thing...
well, you were doing it, Dan, weren't you?
I did. So I did it twice. Yeah. First time I didn't notice, and the second time I didn't notice, so I
got lazy. Didn't go back.
Well, I didn't. Yeah. And I should have went back and seen that, what happened here. I mean, why didn't...
Yeah, because it can change and adjust, can't it? It's not...
Yeah.
No, it's all different.
Yeah.
If you exercise and shit a lot, You'll go through pellets quicker. Shit, you can have pellets and they could last, 10 months if you don't move.
And I waited till it was wore off before I went because I wanted to see how long I do. And then the second one.
Did they test you to make sure you were normal, or you know what I mean?
I believe so.
I mean, how did you know they wore off? So
I could feel it.
Oh, okay. See, I don't know why all of a sudden mine elevated. I went in that time and I said, I think it was my second time, and they were like, and I said the same thing you did. I said, well, the first time it was evident as hell. I said, the second one, he goes, maybe we didn't give you enough. So they went from, I think I was on 9 pellets, they went to 10. They elevated it that one. And that one single pellet, man, there was either 11 or 10 or 9. But the one more additional fucking shot me up like a rocket.
It took about a year for the bumps to go down.
Well, he still has. He's had them so long.
Thanks, man.
He's got, dead scar tissue everywhere in his ass. That is one downside to it. It's fucking, let me tell you, it's barbaric. I don't give a shit what anybody says. They take a fucking, they
I've seen a video
they
of
cut
it.
a slit like this in you. They take a metal straw, put the pills in, and fucking cram it in your ass, and then put it back up.
The pellets.
Yeah, it's the worst thing I ever seen done in my life.
You watched it done?
I watched it on Suzanne right before mine, and I almost said,
saw
fuck
it,
that.
but it doesn't hurt.
No, it doesn't hurt, but when you see it, it's fucking brutal. Oh my God!
Actually, I think surgery.
It's barbaric.
I think surgery.
You know what, though?
brutal.
Seriously,
The way they do it.
I'm having a little problem in that I don't have a lot of fat.
The scar tissue.
And I have muscle. And because I've worked glutes, no, seriously. And he's having a tough time finding fatty tissue.
Can you put him somewhere else?
I don't know, but it's a problem. And I got to do. Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Kevin Kalk is with us from Sheridan Auto Tech. I'm trying to get an attorney on to address this impound issue. Ray, it looks like you have a case, and we do want to help you. So, Ray, just hang in there, right? Because worst case scenario, man, we gotta hold it till we get an expert. But and possibly, Ray, if you have the name, do you have the name and number of someone down there that you've been discussing this with at the DA's office?
No, just what Danny Garash is my attorney. They're the one who've been dealing with these jerk.
You have Garash?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the father and the son. Walter was my attorney, but he's retired now. But Danny is my.
Well, man, will Danny talk to us? He knows his way around, bro.
Oh, yeah, he knows all of them. And he had asked him many times to give me my car back, but Andrew Steers, the assistant DA...
All right, Ray. Would you ask...
We filed a motion. They had 14 days to apply to the motion, to hear the motion. They just didn't respond to it.
Hey, Ray, would you allow us... Can you call or text your attorney and ask him if we can call him? We want to talk to him.
Okay, I'll call him.
All right, hold on, Suze. Dan Garash... And I just want to ask this, Ray, honest to goodness, I'm not trying to, we don't know who you are, so it doesn't matter. In other words, I'm not trying to shame you or anything, but you said Walter was your attorney, good guy, you know him, you know the son, Danny. Now, here's what I want to say. Why would you have such a high-powered defense attorney in your pocket? I mean, is this like, are you in trouble a lot? Have you had a record?
No. Walter's a friend of mine.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you meant you had hired him a lot. Okay. All right.
No, he's a friend of mine. I've been knowing Walter since I was 19.
Okay, got it. I got it. So, let's see, Suze, couple things. I'd like to get a hold of his attorney if we can, all right? Then, of course, Ray's attorney. And then what I'd like to do is get a hold of one of our experts like you're trying, and we'll work on this, okay? We'll work on this. Now, I thought we answered Priscilla's problem, but you know what did we answer her on that toilet? We never finished with her, did we? And then we have water under the bathtub, which is important. Is she gone? She's gone. Jack now. Okay, Jack, you want to talk about this water under your bathtub. Let's talk about it.
Hi there. Yes, I do have water on my bathtub. It started on the 4th of July. And
when you say where is it appearing, Jack? Is this a freestanding bathtub with legs?
No, it's a regular bathtub that goes right to the floor. There's a little slot that was left open, at the opposite end of the tub from the faucet, and it's been flowing.
I guess I don't. I'm trying to picture this now. Is this a bath tub with a shower on it?
Yes.
Okay, so this is like built with walls, like there's a back wall and two side walls, and then a curtain or a door in the front.
Just a curtain.
Okay. Now, as I'm looking at it, is the faucet to my left or to the right?
I think to the right.
Okay. And on that wall where the faucet is that where you're having the leak?
No, it's the opposite wall.
The opposite wall. And where is it leaking? On that opposite wall, is it leaking where the top of the tub meets the wall? Or
no, what happened, the plumber came on the 4th of July morning, cut a hole in the ceiling, and found nothing. Then he cut a hole near the toilet.
Well, that doesn't tell me anything. Where's the toilet in relation to this tub? I mean,
About 10 inches away.
10 inches away to the left or on the same side as the faucet?
Opposite the faucet.
Okay, so you have a tub, and then there's a wall, and then there's a toilet.
Right.
Okay.
And the water has nothing to do with the plumbing, with the water system. When another set of plumbers came out, they found no water flowing through the meter.
Okay, so there is no water. And how much water is it?
Well, it was at least 3/4 of an inch under the tub.
How did they... Okay, does it still come back?
It's the drain.
Hold on. We got to come back to this and more. Hold on.
It's going to be the drain.
Well, if he doesn't use it, it's not. And that's what I gotta figure out.
If he doesn't use it, I don't think it's leaking. So that means it's the drain.
Obviously, but he didn't even...
He said he doesn't use the tub?
Yeah.
Did he say that?
I don't know. He didn't say that.
No, I think now that he knows it's leaking, he doesn't use the tub.
I actually never asked that. I mean,
it's either where it connects under the tub, that's exactly what happened to us, or it's that part where if you overflow, it goes down that drain. The tub part.
That's a little high. But why would the plumber do a hole in the ceiling?
They had to do a hole in my ceiling. It's the only way to get to it.
The ceiling below it. The tub's on the second floor.
Yeah, the tub's upstairs, just like ours was.
So he had a couple
and nothing came out?
Well, he said there was didn't see any water.
That's because he wasn't running the tub and looking at the drain.
You're welcome. That's his. Dan.
He was just looking for a leak.
That's one for Kevin.
Oh,
thank you.
Yeah.
Love the hair.
Yeah, after I wasted my fucking money.
Let me tell you, seriously, Tom, that's not a big deal. That goes away. Freaking tattoo. None of my kids have tattoos, and I tell you what, it's the freaking worst.
Surfside, Florida, crews have recovered 14 more victims today at the site of the collapsed condo building, bringing the death toll to 78. Miami-Dade Mayor Danielle Levine-Cava says teams are making progress to move the mountain of debris.
We have now removed over 13 million pounds of concrete and debris. 60 trucks a day are working.
62 people are still unaccounted for. President Biden will head to Philadelphia next Tuesday, where he'll deliver remarks focused on protecting voting rights. It follows a meeting with civil rights leaders and lawmakers who say voting rights are under siege with Republican-led election reform laws in several states.
Voting rights are under siege. You know, that's where, I don't care what anybody says, the way the media reports stuff is just the worst. You know, Delaware has more than what Georgia law. They have more restrictions than the Georgia law.
So I don't listen to that shit anymore.
I
don't know why you do.
I don't listen to it just right here.
Another guilty plea in the college admissions cheating scandal. Plead guilty to a charge of filing a false tax return.
Bill O'Reilly's doing a tour with Trump.
Really?
Paid tour, you know, like he was doing with when he had like Miller.
Dennis Miller. Interesting. They both like their ladies. That's true. I don't give a fuck. That might not be the best matchup, bro.
You wake up will give you the maximum jolt from your morning coffee. And that's because the stress hormone cortisol naturally spikes when you wake up, so it already gives your body a jolt of energy. Vital Mornings, ABC News.
Have you heard of this Danny Garage? He must be a pretty famous guy.
Who?
Of Florida.
I have no idea.
No
idea.
So try BC Max Strength. BC Max relieves tough pain at the speed of powder.
Holy shit, that's pretty good.
BC Max in a great tasting lemonade flavor. And now max out with summer fun.
Yes, ma'am.
Stinks in here.
I know, I hate that fucking
Oh, well, it stinks even worse for me.
I know.
Oh, this here?
It's the onion. But it's better. It's not as bad as it was a few weeks ago when you guys got it.
Fucking nasty.
No, I'm saying...
I
it's
hear
good.
it from Brown every fucking time.
I know, but Daniel, it's
We
way
should
better
not
than
eat
it
that
was a
shit.
few weeks ago for me. So, like, I'm hopeful. Like, not ready to throw a party yet.
Good. We'll throw these papers out. That's,
yeah.
Well, why aren't you eating? No, you don't eat. You're not doing intermittent fasting, are you?
I need that fucking shit.
He doesn't eat Jimmy John's.
Fuck
Yeah.
no.
We didn't want pizza.
You kidding? They fucking rub that shit on their balls and fucking give it to you?
Are you kidding me?
No. That gives it the onion.
He is a sicko. I swear. You gotta really... I keep duct tape just in case to shut his face. You never know what's gonna come out.
Have you ever worked in a like a restaurant, whatever?
No.
Never mind. But
No, but it looks fun. I was like, man, it'd be fun
No, I
to be
know.
a bartender.
But if you had ever seen someone do something's food,
Oh yeah. Oh,
you would say,
yeah.
"Fuck, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
work here."
Yeah.
Because I
don't complain until after my food is gone.
that's a good way to go.
You know,
I agree.
forget that. It's just not worth the stress of it.
Oh, geez, yeah.
What the hell's Biden talking about?
Now, impact traffic.
This report is...
He doesn't know what he's talking about. He just reads, and not very well.
I would like to invite the cabinet members up here. The fuck's he signing?
He doesn't know.
Oh, yeah, import prescription drugs from Canada. Whatever that means.
The reason Canada's cheaper is because the whole Canadian system does the deals with the drug makers.
Well, everybody's cheaper. You just heard me read those insulin ones. All of Europe.
No, and that's what we do. But most of them have national health care, and so the whole nation.
All of Europe doesn't, and they're way the fuck cheaper. I know what you're saying. They're negotiating as one. I'm saying bullshit.
Well, I think Europe is. I don't know.
Dude, you can go to a grocery store almost anywhere in fucking Europe and buy antibiotics for about $3.
Well, Mexico too.
Yeah.
And neither of those have health care.
I do not know if that's good as far as letting people buy antibiotics by themselves, because that's how you get the
Most
superbugs.
people use common sense with that stuff.
I don't know how many mothers are sick, kids are sick, and they say it's a virus, and they go get an antibiotic.
True.
Well, what's the difference?
Okay, Tommy. Rash is in a meeting, had to leave a message. Lazara's unavailable, Trainak's unavailable, so should we just follow up on Monday with something?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna let Ray go then and say we'll follow up on Monday with them.
We have no choice, man.
Okay.
But also, they were saying that when they came out that was non-addictive, they were telling them, and they should have seen that in their patients. But you're right. People, if you put your trust in, there's some shitty fucking
But you
people
can't
elsewhere.
put blind trust. You have to.
Right.
In season 2 of the hit podcast Paper Ghosts.
No, but it's bullshit that you can't get antibiotics. Fucking total bullshit.
A massive fire.
We might be the only country you can't. What are you talking about?
Just over the counter.
Just antibiotics. Why they're not? I bet we're the only one you can't get fucking Sudafed.
Or you guys go, you can
Well, you have to show your license, which is racist.
Not only that, hey, that is racist.
Yeah, it is.
To 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info.
How do you get around that? It's racist.
There goes the argument. You got to requires an ID. That's what it is.
Yeah, baby. Yo, yeah.
You need advice so you don't have to lose. We'll come running just as fast as we can. Troubleshooter's gonna help the common man.
This is the Troubleshooter Show. Now, Tom Martino.
Hi, I'm Tom Martino. Welcome to the show. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255 to help you solve your problems, answer your questions, take your complaints, make your life a little easier. We got several things brewing in the background. If you ever want to know what's going on the show, you can catch our podcast on YouTube and also Facebook, and also, of course, the iHeartRadio app. We are here or on the air, of course, KHOW, and then in Denver and affiliates elsewhere. So welcome, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Jack has a tub shower combination as you're looking at it, and he says to the right is the faucet. To the left is the base of the tub, which is up against the wall. And that wall on the other side is a toilet. He said some people came to check it out. They couldn't find a leak. They determined it's not coming from his fresh water supply, and the only other water it leaves would be drain water. But have you checked that, Jack? Water under the tub? I mean, any plumber is going to check both first, the water supply, and then they're going to check the drain. Did they check the drains?
They've checked the drains.
And wait, how did they check the drains?
I'm not exactly sure.
I know what they did, man. Here's my best guess. Check this out.
They ran the water.
If they just ran the water, like if you're filling up the tub, all right, that drain at the bottom probably works fine. Most people don't take baths. Probably whoever's using that bathroom is using the shower. The shower water's hitting them, and it's going in to the overflow drain. That's leaking.
Maybe.
No, may I continue with my thoughts on this before?
Yeah.
What they're discovering, what I'm believing is that it's the groundwater. That's the impression they have given me.
Is this? Can I ask you something, Jack? Is this on a second floor?
No, this is a finished basement.
Okay, so when you said they came in and put a hole in the ceiling, why did they put a hole in the ceiling?
Because they felt that the spigot for the outside water may have been leaking.
Okay, they felt like there was water. Hold on, they thought water was coming in through the foundation, where the foundation meets your wood walls, and then coming into your ceiling and down behind your tub.
Yes.
Okay, but you think it's coming from groundwater through the slab.
No, they think it's coming from groundwater from the slab, and they want me to install a sump pump.
Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever had water anywhere in your basement?
No. But may I continue that there is a pond, some kind of pond across the street that was installed within the last year, and it's supposed to lose water every 72 hours, and it has been full for the past week.
What kind of a pond? Is it a drainage retention pond?
It's a drainage retention pond, yes.
And you think that is seeping into your basement?
Well, the reason I think that is because it has officially stopped as of this morning, and the pond is empty as this morning, and I talked to a foreman who told me that one of the drainage parts of that pond was full of stuff.
Okay, it is possible, Jack, that pond is leaching into the ground and causing increased underground water and leaking into your basement. And if that's the case, let me just cut it short. If that's the case, if that is the case, they're not going to have to fix your basement, just so you know. They're not going to even have to install a sump for you. When it comes to drainage, there are a couple things. First and foremost, drainage is considered natural, and the one at the end of the line or the one who gets water has to deal with water. That's usually how it's handled. However, in your case, where there's an actual drain in that retention pond, where does that drain go?
I think to a place called Sand Creek, but I'm not sure.
Okay, if it does, and that's clogged, that could be a little different. It's not like you just happen to be at the end of a drainage plan. It seems like there's a bit of negligence in not keeping that clean, if that is what's causing it. Have you talked to the people who runs or owns that pond?
My association.
Are you sure it's your association and it's not a sewer or drain? It's not a sewer or water district?
We had this. There was new construction by Classic Homes in my neighborhood for the past 3 years, and they have finished up like in the middle of last year. And this pond was built as part of the.
Okay, I get it. It was part. Here's what it is. Whoever subdivided the land is given a drainage plan by an engineer, and it's stamped or approved by the county or the city. Where is this located?
Colorado Springs.
Okay, so most likely Colorado Springs, or is it El Paso County, approved it, or whatever county that is. Now, it's possible that they approved it, but it should be working properly for them to approve it. It's really difficult, though, to get people to fix things like that. So you have to know who's in charge of that right now. If you're sure it's the homeowners association, have you gone to the homeowners association or the management company?
No, because I have no. That's why I'm calling you, to find a sense of direction.
Okay. Well, you seem to have a good lead. It only leaks when that's full.
Well, this is the first time since I've been here, and I'm worried about it being so isolated.
But are other people around that pond getting flooded?
Not to my. Nobody communicates around any here.
Do you understand that a water test of both waters could pretty much tell you if they're the same?
Now it is, but yes, I do, but it's empty. And what my question is, should I bother with getting a sump pump?
Well, you may have to. Listen, I'm not saying you don't have to. You may have to. It may be that just the sheer nature of the drainage has changed, leaving you with more subterranean water. If that's the case, you know, this is an amazing thing that people end up with. When new development happens around people, and those developments follow the law and do their drainage properly, the people sometimes at the lower end of the drainage plan end up with more water and start bitching, and they're saying, why did this happen? It never happened before. And they have some distorted feeling that people up the line should take care of it. And that's not the way it works. When it comes to drainage, it's considered natural, and when people are given a drainage plan, the purpose is to keep it as natural as possible, and the ones at the lower end of the drainage plan have to handle it, and it goes down the line until finally it's emptied. Okay, so you just happen to be in a position where you might have to do a sub pump, but maybe all it will take is cleaning out that drain. Who said the drain in that drainage pond is clogged? Who told you that?
I was walking my dog, and there happened to be a team of men cleaning it out.
Okay, so maybe they fixed the problem. Maybe they already fixed it. If I were you, I would monitor this situation, and I would just see what happens. And if it turns out that it corresponds with that lake filling up, that pond filling up, then maybe it's because you're getting more water than usual. It's not necessarily because the pond is doing a bad job. If that pond wasn't there, where would the drainage go?
The street, as far as I can tell.
All right. So, Jack, really, you may need a French drain system at your home along with a sump pump, and that's going to be a minimum of $2,500 to $3,000.
Well, that's how much they're talking about, just the sump pump.
Yeah, well, they can't possibly just talk about a sump pump because you got to put a sump pump somewhere. So where are they telling you they're going to put the sump pump?
In my basement, about within 10 feet of the flooding.
Well, that's stupid. I mean, to do it properly, you would need a perimeter drain and a sump pump, and that's a permanent solution. If you want to put a temporary sump pump in there, for God's sakes, you can do it yourself. You can buy just a floor pump that is level driven. It sits on the concrete floor. I mean, how much water comes in at any given time? I mean, is it 3 inches high?
No, it's about 3/4 of an inch.
Well, how would a sump pump even pick that up?
Well, he's saying that because it's groundwater, he sucks it from the ground.
Well, okay, it's not true. They're talking about building a sump pit, right? That's a hole in your basement. Okay, well, that's different. Listen, I would make sure you got someone who knows what they're doing. And if you put a sump pump in, that's fine. With a sump pit, then the water will come in, but still the water leaking through your foundation is not a good idea if that's where it's coming from. If it's coming from below, that's different. You got to really get an engineer to figure out where the water's coming from. If the water's coming through your wall or through the sill plate of your home, what would happen is a sump pump would do away with the water, but it would still not be healthy for your foundation.
Okay.
If it's coming from the ground up, then a sump pump is the ticket. So what if it's coming through the wall and not through the ground? If it's coming through the wall, even though you have a sump pump to pump it back out, you still should stop it from coming through the wall. And that's what a French drain would do. It's a French drain is a drain around your house underground that takes all the accumulated water and puts it into a sump pit, and the sump pit pumps it into the sewer. So all you need, man, is someone who knows what the hell they're doing. You got to figure out. You got to figure out, is it coming from the pit, from the ground, or is it coming from the groundwater in through your wall?
Figure that out first. That's your first job. Then call us back.
I don't think you can put sump water in the sewer.
No, well, where? In your storm drain. You know what I mean? You just have to.
I think they jumped. This is the first time I've ever. Hey, we're going to throw that outside because it stinks. Here, I'll throw it out there.
Okay. Sorry. You said stinks consultation.
This stuff.
800-783-8055. Have you done with Colorado Pain Care before? I can do it. No, I'm just wondering. Yeah. I'm a patient of Colorado Pain Care for good reason. I had pain and I went there. Now listen, here's the deal. No matter where your pain is from, pain is not normal. But a lot of people have accepted it as the new normal. I'm telling you, ColoradoPainCare.com doesn't want you to do that. They're people of action, and I say that because they don't wait for weeks and weeks to give you treatment. Sometimes you get treatment on your first visit to get you over the hump. Then they start you with physical therapy, or they do more invasive procedures that are, of course, clinically tested and proven to get you out of pain permanently. Why don't you check them out? ColoradoPainCare.com. 303-GOT-PAIN. 303-GOT-PAIN. Ideal home loans for your next ideal home loan. Listen, I say this because I believe in this company, and let me tell you something about Ideal. They will give you a good faith estimate, and they will stick by it. They will even give you free second opinions on any loan estimate you've already gotten. You may not know this, but you're not tied to a lender until you close. So if you don't like what you're hearing, if you're being dilly-dallied, go to Ideal Home Loans for a second look, a free second look. By the way, if you want to take out cash, they know how to do that. If you want to pay off student loans or high interest debt, they can show you how to use the savings to get that part paid quicker. Or you just want a lower payment, you can pick your own term. They have so many programs. Call them and find out. 303-867-7000. You can do it from the comfort of your home. Don't wait. Here's the deal. They're the only ones that'll refinance you free of charge if rates go down. So get into idealhomeloans.com. 303-867-7000.
Attention timeshare owners. Did some high-pressure salesperson twist your arm into buying a timeshare? Did they forget to mention that the
first year I've ever got water in my basement. I got about a quart, just about a quart of water. Yeah, the first in 27 years I've never got it. You got 2 inches this last weekend.
See, we had a French drain and a pump in the house since I was young.
In your house?
Yeah.
Good. Does it run?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when we get rain, probably 8 to 10 hours after, depending on the rain. I mean, if it's raining all day, it'll come on during the day. But I sit out there at night and just listen for it because I don't want to go down and check it. So that way it doesn't waste starts. So,
where do you pump this water?
Just the side of the house, then it'll run down the driveway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we try different things with the lawn gets saturated when it rains. So trying to water with it.
I was just going to ask that. So once you get like a big force tank.
Hey, let me take a minute and talk about it. It seems like a waste.
I know it does. It's not a driveway, but right, and that's good water.
The best water you get is healthy. The more I like it. And we're 3 months on that short hill.
Oh, you do.
Not surface drainage, but I mean you can tell.
And simple inflammation reduction. But now what I really
the
like
one downspout in the back will feed into that too because there's nowhere for it to go.
Oh, okay.
Off the roof, put it in there so it'll go into the French drain and actually help it out.
You got? Are you on dental water?
No, water to use.
I mean, liquid workout.
Okay, so you pay for your water.
Yes, yeah.
30%.
Is it like what do you pay? I mean, for I see some people. You know what's all you gets me? I walk the dog every morning. There's this rain 2 inches.
By using
and people are watering, they do this
See, my girlfriend's guy, because some of her gardens, the eave on the house covers like the one bed in the front, so it can be soaking wet and then bone dry. So she's out watering. She'll in the summer, I mean, it could be between 100 and 200 water.
That's why you had to take on that extra electrical thing to pay for your water. No, I know a lot of people that
she waters a lot. That's her thing. She loves the garden. She loves,
If I had like that, like that you had with some pump there, I think I would buy it. And maybe you don't have a place longer, a bunch of plastic barrels. Just for the sake of, I hate also stuff going down the drain.
I'm with you. No,
I hate waste.
Because we try to figure out a way to run it out like on this bed that's covered by the like just a pipe with holes.
Right.
Thing, and it just.
Be a pain in the butt.
It was because it was overwatering that and then going back into the French drain and pumping, and so it's sitting there doing this. So it's like, okay, that wasn't a good idea because there's no way to really like get it to the end of the pipe until the pipe's full. You know what I'm saying? So it's like dumping here and over there is not.
Right.
But then over here, it's going straight down to the ground and back into the sump pump.
No,
so yeah, it's.
I even thought of it's not so much where I live, but other places you walk around.
Because today
the sprinkler broken there or whatever, they're overwatering, and it's just running down the drainage.
Yeah, for a special
with that, like my lawn and stuff. I do that with just sprinkler all the time. To see it running like different down the street.
Yeah,
keep it all on.
What are you so intent on, Mark? This guy and this fucking problem with APO. I just have no idea.
Oh, did you send that to anybody? That picture, you got the picture from me, right? The water heater from.
Oh, yeah. I got that. Yes, I didn't send it yet, but
Hi, Tom Martino here. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. You got a question about an airbag, go ahead. MH, I guess that's what your name is put down there. MH. Okay, what's happening?
Well, I'll tell you what, I got a 2008 Dodge Grand Caravan with 114,941 miles on it, and the airbag light comes on, and if I'm on the highway, it'll go off, and then when I get off the highway, like going 80 miles an hour, it'll come back on again, and even in just city traffic.
What do you think, Kevin?
It could be a number of things. Yeah, you have to get codes pulled and get.
What do you normally see with
what they call squib, the connection in the steering wheel? It usually loses connection somewhere, or either that or a sensor in the seat.
And what is that? What are the consequences of that?
When the light's on, the airbag will not deploy.
Why?
It's a safety. If there is a defect, you don't want it deploying for no reason. So if the light's on, the system's found a defect and is shut down.
And that defect could be that connection.
Could be a connection, yes.
Are there certain shops? Do regular mechanics work on those?
We do it all the time. Yeah, the Grand Caravan is notorious for what they call the clock spring. But do regular
mechanics normally work on them, or is it special certification, or what? Airbags are an animal all unto themselves.
They are to a point, but they're pretty basic. Pretty basic safety rules and stuff with them. It's not very complicated.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, that's probably, he said, just a small or a minor connection.
Yeah, do your turn signals work or not work when the airbag light's on or off?
No, everything works just fine.
Okay.
Except so the airbag will come and go. And I did read on the Google.
Yeah.
That connector underneath the seat is a real common thing where
under the seat, not in the column. We were saying in
both. Either one is common on that. Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, since they also do electrical stuff there at Sheridan Auto Tech, they absorbed Lakewood Auto Electrics. That's really a good place to go. Really, SheridanAutotech.com. Priscilla's back, has more questions. Let me get back to Priscilla here, her 2006 Toyota Tundra. Go ahead, what's going on?
Well, I meant to ask you, they're looking at it again today. They're supposed to call me to let me know what's wrong with it after they do the diagnostic.
Okay, what were the characteristics again?
It would kind of delay when you step on the gas from the stop sign.
That is such a minor / major. It could be anything. I mean, it could be so simple, just a tune-up, so to speak, or it could be something. Well, let's just talk about this. Let's go to worst case scenario. If you had a hesitation, I don't know of major problems that start out that way. When you say hesitation, is it hesitation in the motor, in the engine, or hesitation in the wheels? Do you know?
Well, they said the transmission.
What I want to ask you is, when you say it hesitates when taking off, when you press on the gas, does the engine hesitate?
Pick up the power. It doesn't pick up the power right away. It's delayed about 2 or 3 seconds.
But can you hear the power?
I can hear when it's not working right. You kind of hear that little bit, and then all of a sudden you step on it, and then that noise goes away. This is a little bit of a noise. You can tell the difference.
Okay, I guess what I'm asking is, does the engine ever rev without the car moving?
No, not at all.
So when you're having this hesitation, the engine is hesitating too, like that. I mean,
no, you don't even hear that at all. It's just when it's just kind of doesn't want to pick up. It doesn't want to shift to the next. When you step on the power to get more power to get going.
Okay. Yeah, it's so hard.
But I wanted to ask you, because I've had it in there, and now they're for the third time.
When you say in there, where is there? Is it are you going to this parts place or something?
Midas is where it is.
No, we're at Midas.
Well, that's not. Here's the thing, man. I just have to say it like it is. We've never had any good, really, luck with Midas. Is Midas a general shop, or is it just for mufflers? What is it? Do you know?
It's very general. Yeah.
It's just so they do general work, Midas.
Yeah, front ends, brakes, alignments. Yeah.
Okay, but why don't you take it somewhere else? Why do you keep going back there?
Well, we may have to. I spend so much money on it.
Oh, I see. You went back there because you already spent $2,000 with them.
Oh, it was 2,600.
Yeah.
And then this last time,
I don't understand.
Illinois,
2,600. What they did for $2,600?
Well, I've got the paperwork. He said it's that I have to get it out. It's the tray or the part of it where they place
keeps
all
talking
those
about
parts.
this tray. Do me a favor. Get us that work order, okay? Can you get us that work order like while we're on the air? We have an hour and a half.
I don't know if my husband's printer will print it out.
Well, hold on. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it printed out. I want you to send it to me.
Get it.
Huh?
Oh. Well, I mean, email it to you or
yeah. Hold on, Priscilla. We really need to see what's going on, and we'd be happy to help you. Of course, you can always take it to Kevin or another fine mechanic on our referral list. Do me a favor now, though, Suze. Have her send that to us by email so we can look at her invoice. I want to know what she was charged for to begin with. We have a bank problem coming up. I'm Tom Martino. Stay tuned, Gordon.
This is... I'll show you what we're talking about, the water heater. You know what load that is. So do I.
They had another one in Brown Shoe.
This report is sponsored by West Sierra Credit Union. From the Backward Traffic Center, I-25
So you see that little melting thing? Their first water heater had gas water heater, of course. XL came in to relight it because they had just placed in here. They said they looked at that and said, "Wow, you need that, replaced and stuff like that." Okay. So this company on the
was this the inlet or the outlet?
That's I
gotta get
that. I don't know.
I'm gonna send that to him right away, man.
Okay. So they replaced this water heater 4 times because they keep on melting that. They did extra.
They didn't get the dead squirrel out of the flue yet, or what?
Well, they actually did a little bit of repiping and everything, and now
10 seconds.
If you are a mortgage loan officer, processor, or underwriter, talk to Westera. We're like a $1.8 billion startup, and you can help build it. Go to westeracu.com.
I love when my carpets are clean and they stay clean with Zero Res. Let me tell you what a refreshing feeling that is. First of all, Zero Res gets all that old soap that's still in there. And yes, if you haven't had Zero Res before, you're going to find old soap. Yeah, you will. And then you realize that was in your carpet and it was attracting dust. Also, they have this way of extracting the dirt with their really proprietary brushing system. And then the Zero Res empowered water together get your carpets so clean, no residue, and they make them look like new. And then they stay that way longer. I love Zero Res. Right now, you can get 3 rooms for $109. That's ZeroResDenver.com. ZeroResDenver.com. 303-471-5150. We have so much sunshine in Colorado. Your lot may generate enough to pay all of your electricity. And if you want to know that for sure, you can get a free evaluation of your lot as if it had a solar system. This free evaluation is 20 minutes it takes. They don't even have to be at your house. They can do it remotely. Call Genesis Solar, CO.com, and they'll tell you within 20 minutes what you can expect to generate in electricity, and they'll stand behind it. Or you get a check every year for what it doesn't produce. Genesis, 25-year warranty on all parts. You own it, so it's not complicated when you sell your house. 720-667-4760. 720-667-4760.
So what were they saying? Well, I don't know why they said they could fix it. So they said a new water heater. Now these are like 85% efficiency and stuff like that. they did they did some extra venting or whatever, still didn't, they put in 4 water heaters. And now they said they can't do it, they're gonna put electrical.
You know, Mark, how did you know
Just make sure where that was
that I was thinking about zero res when I did that other spot?
Or,
well, they're not even sure why.
I know I did these before.
I assume that is what's doing it. I assume that fluid is.
Just put a little shield on the
But you could put a shield, or I know it's got a. Why couldn't you put even like a all the way around that?
Just wait to talk to the counter.
Why?
We both happen to work with Dr. Zeppelin, but the whole team there, Drs. Yaros, Augustine, Zeppelin, and Son.
Because that's just the heat from the stuff going up there.
Aspenwood Dental, especially for my wife.
Yeah, at least on the target.
Yeah, no, or you can. You're right. I didn't even think of something. I thought it was required as a fan, or they could put a higher efficiency water heater in there, but then they got to replumb off the side.
Feed them and just stand it.
You're right. Something like that. I think I probably would have thought of that. That would have been mine.
Yeah.
You know, unless they said, yeah, we can do that stuff versus, I don't know what code it is.
Yeah, I don't either. Because it always surprises me every time I get I got our shop, which has had all kinds of anti-backflow valves and stuff I had to install.
Oh, for going back into the water, yeah. That apparently is a big deal. I don't know how big a deal it is, but
well, now we're on a program that we have to have them tested every 6 months or 12 months. I don't know what it is.
You're Denver though, right?
Lakewood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, like I said, I looked at it. But like I said, you know, the high efficiency.
What did they take out?
What did they take out?
What was in there? What did they replace?
It had that. Originally,
Same kind of thing.
it had that. Worked fine.
Yeah.
But the Excel guy says, man, you should get that looked at.
Well, if it's getting that hot, I agree.
But like you said,
Let me get Andy here. I keep going down the side, but I really believe.
But you know what Kevin was saying is, why not just put a little shield right there?
Yeah, but it's not even an issue.
But even if it's something that's bothering somebody, just put a little thing with legs on it and stand it.
Right.
Size of your cell phone.
Because there's your inlet and outlet on the other side there too. So you just put it on both sides of that. Right.
It's not moving.
Right, and you can just put little screws in it and leave it on there. Right.
You don't even have to. Just stand it up.
Yeah, you're probably right. You probably could stand it up.
You know, guys got sheet metal all the time anyway. The plumbers, HVAC guys.
Yeah. No, I didn't think of that, but you're right. A little shield and stuff would. And you don't just like
a little origami metal thing. You just pull the legs out of it and just set it down.
Yeah.
And if it stops melting, then you can screw it up. Yeah.
But I looked at when he first said that, it's melting. I thought it was maybe it's a little plug that covers the anode rod.
Sure.
Do you do that? Ever check your anode rod?
Nah, I got a buddy that's a plumber. I just got a new water heater 2 years ago. So.
Hi, Tom Martino here. 303-713-TALK. 713-8255. All right, Deputy Doc, you have 2 follow-ups. What's going on?
Okay, Tom, we had...
Doc? I don't know what happened to him. We got to check. Gordon, what's going on with your bank? What's happening, Gordon?
Hi. Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
What happened was last August, to be specific, I had 2 charges on my account, one for $500 and one for $1,500 out of 2 companies in Florida.
$500 and $1,500?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I went to my bank, TCF Bank, met with them in person, brought this to their attention, filed a fraud report. They canceled, they submitted it, then they canceled my debit card and issued me a new card. Within 2 weeks after that, I checked my accounts at least daily, no more than every 2 days. And there were I came online, looked at my checking account with PCF. There were 26 withdrawals in my account, for anywhere from 7-Elevens to Liquor Marts.
Yeah, I don't know why they bothered issuing a new debit card because
they don't
need a debit card.
No, and I'm not. I was told by a friend of mine. I was completely embarrassed by this, and I didn't really tell anybody. I was having to talk to a person months after this had happened, and I was just kind of going to let it go. And his daughter is in the banking industry for over 20 years, and he put me in touch with her, and she said the same thing. She was shocked that they issued me a debit card. She said it's an ACH fraud.
Right.
Explained to me what they did. They should have never issued a new card.
Well, that's right. What they should have done is changed your account number. Here's the thing. You need to probably close the account, but are they at least putting the money back?
No, that's why I'm contacting you. They never. I was told after these 26 fraudulent transactions happening within 2 days, when I went back into them and said, why wasn't I not contacted about this? My account frozen and called me to put a stop to this. All they said was, you need to go to a new bank, which I did.
Wait a minute. They told you they didn't want your business?
Yeah, they told me that I needed to go to a new bank.
But why? Are they not believing you or what?
So anyway, what happened was the total amount is over $6,400.
No, but hold on. Wait. Gordon, these charges were ACH charges, and they first, if you did not authorize them, they have to put it back, and the burden of proof is on them. Even though there's convenience in the banking world where banks don't often ask for authorization when it comes to ACHs, otherwise it'd be a nightmare, they're taking a chance. It's at their peril. When they don't have the authorization, they have to put the money back. So
exactly, but Tom, here's what happened in that regard. I filed another fraud report over all this. They came back within 2 weeks after that, denied this, and I'm reading this word for word. They're saying that they declined this due to the microchip technology contained inside the debit card that was used to make the disputed transactions, requiring the user of the card to be physically present during these transactions. So they're saying, I live here in Colorado. They're saying I had to be in Florida physically to make authorize those transactions.
Or send your card there.
Well, that'd be correct, though, if it was actually a chip.
Well, here's what I need to know. Were they debit card transactions?
Yes.
And they were using the card? Did it indicate they were using the card?
Yes.
And they refused to credit it, saying you had to have been there.
Yeah, they said I had to have been there. They said, okay. I said, okay. Obviously, I'm in Colorado. This is Florida.
I thought your friend said they were ACH charges. So you're telling me
she said that. Well, I'm not fully comprehending this.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I understand.
She said they should have never issued a new debit card. Or on that account, on the same account.
Well, I mean, it depends on whether they should have or not. I mean, that's a matter of opinion. I mean, if they thought it was a bad debit card, yeah, they could issue another debit card. If it was ACH fraud, they should change your account. Technically, they should have done both.
But understand what they're saying. They're saying he used the chip feature. There's no way you can't phony baloney that. The card had to be there.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Then maybe someone cloned the card or something.
You cannot clone that chip.
Well, I happen to believe him, so something must have happened.
Well, maybe, but you can't clone that chip. You simply can't do it.
So
you can steal the information off of it and make a card that you could swipe like the old-fashioned one, but they're saying that whoever used it used the chip feature.
When you use the chip feature, are you talking about
the little chip built into your credit card?
Yeah, when you insert it.
Yes.
Instead of swiping.
That's right.
Okay.
You can't phony baloney that. That's why we went to it. There is no counterfeits of that. Period. End of story.
Okay. If, in fact, this happened to him, then there must be a way, or they got your original card somehow.
They'd have to have the card.
Now, the new card that they gave you, did the charges happen right after that?
Happened within 2 weeks after I got the new card.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, because and your card that you got, it was in your possession the whole time.
Absolutely. I don't authorize. You know how you get offers to authorize a second user of your card? I did none of that. It strictly was my card used by myself only. And they told me I needed to file a police report. These charges were in Hialeah, Miami, and Hollywood, Florida. I contacted the police department in Hialeah, Florida.
No, they're not going to do anything. And no, it's free crime. Nobody's going to do anything.
Yeah. They told me I needed to come in person. And I said, okay, I'm in Colorado to fill out this report.
No one will do anything, even if you went in person. Credit card crime is free. No one gets punished. It's free.
So what I did, I asked TCF, can I get the time of these transactions? They said, no, we can't do that. So what I did, I had 3 charges that I used my card here in Denver at King Soopers, one for the fuel center and one shot, and then 2 for in-store purchases. I contacted King Soopers corporate department, explained to them why I was calling them. They were kind enough. They gave me a printout with the date, the time, and the location and the amounts, which occurred during the same time as these charges were going on.
Okay, good. That's great. You know what I would do? I would take that bank to small claims court for 64.
Here's what I wanted to bring this is what I need your help, Tom. I tried doing that, but I can't. I can call the state of Colorado department, and how to process. How do you serve a bank? And they didn't have any information on TCF Bank. How to serve them?
Well,
I would personally serve the branch.
Yeah, I would just go where it happened, where you have your account, and I would serve the branch along with the manager. Okay. And let them worry about it.
That's what we did when we served your bank.
Right. And then they had to show up. And let me tell you something, Gordon. This is no small thing. We want to walk through this with you because you actually have times and dates proving the card was here in Colorado and the card could not be in 2 places at once. They have to prove otherwise. You don't have to prove it.
Well, the technology proves it unless if they're lying and it was swiped and not stuck in.
Yeah, but if he has proof that his was used, his chip. Now, you are sure you were using the chip and King Soopers gave you this documentation.
Yes, I have a printout of it. And then let me add one other thing.
Wait. What do you mean a printout of it?
Hold on.
Gordon, they printed out the 3 times I used the card with again the date, the time, the location.
How was it used?
I swiped it. I went to their fuel center. There's the
problem.
Okay,
you swiped it.
Did you swipe it? You did not use the chip feature.
What do you mean by that?
Okay. Yeah, see, he's not aware of this, so we have to tell him. Okay, there's 2 ways to use a new card. Actually, 3 ways if it's really new. One is to insert it and it reads the chip. The other one is
your PIN number.
The other one.
Your PIN number.
No, you don't have to use a PIN number unless is this just a debit card, right?
Just a debit card.
Okay, just hold on. I'll tell you. We'll go over it. Hang on.
You know. If this was it debit or credit, does he have the credit feature? And if it wasn't, they would also need a PIN number. I mean,
if it was debit, you'd think you would have to.
With a debit, you need a PIN number.
I'm telling you this, though. If it was in Florida or fucking Italy, I don't give a shit. And it was put in, like a chip. You're not swiping it.
Right.
The fucking card was there. There is no phony baloney.
No, but I believe it. I truly do believe it.
Okay, well, I'm not saying yay or
could
nay.
the bank tell them if there's more than one of those cards made?
Well, the bank doesn't seem very cooperative. They're not helping them at all.
Right. But I mean, they can just say, okay, was there more than one? Here's mine.
Well, we've come across maybe the first time because everything can be cheated eventually. Everything is cheated.
Well, the whole reason the encryption, it's like breaking Bitcoin. It's just not there yet. The technology's not there.
No, but somehow, though, somebody made charges on his account. He doesn't really know if it was chipped. They told him it was.
But they're small. 7-Eleven.
I have a whole house fan. I love it because it saves me money on air conditioning bills. But it also does something else. It gives me cool, fresh air throughout the night into the morning. You can use it a number of ways. You can leave your air off and then in the morning fire this up. It'll cool down your house immediately, and then use your air with it, so your air works less. You can also leave your air off all day, come home in the evening, cool your house down almost immediately with the whole house fan. Again, turn on your air to supplement it. All the hot air is up and out, and your air conditioner works less. That's how I use it. My whole house fan has cut my air conditioning bill by about like 90% because it hardly works. But you use them in conjunction. Now, some people, cheapskates like Dan, he never uses his air conditioner. That's all he uses is a whole house fan. Now, QCcolorado.com for more information. QCcolorado.com. They put it in at my house in less than 2 hours. And no wall wiring because it's remote control. 303-800-3419. 303-800-3419. Simply Floors Inc. When I give out that website, what I want you to do is know why. It's not to find unique floor coverings, because all floor coverings are basically the same. Really, they are. I mean, you get better quality or lesser quality. That's up to you, but everyone sells everything. But Simply Floors Inc. sells it cheaper, less expensive, with better installers and better service and a better sales experience. Simply Floors Inc. Make your own appointment. They come to you. SimplyFloorsInc.com.
All right, this is it. This is it this weekend. Coors Field, July 11th, 2 days from now. MLB All-Star Sunday. This is it, guys. You got to get those tickets now. You can see the biggest superstars at tomorrow, MLB and Rockies legends, and the country's biggest celebrities all this Sunday. For tickets, go to allstargame.com. That's allstargame.com.
I'm thrifty, not cheap. Cheap is going to an all-you-can-eat and then ordering extra to take home. That's cheap. I was thrifty. Well, I bet you the bank, though, would if they could know how many cars were used. Or maybe
if they were willing to work with the guy, they'd already know that, and they would have figured it out. So they would have to go pounds in, you know.
With all the recent huge changes in our economy, this is a really important time to pay attention to your spending and your savings. Don't waste money. And
so you have the whole house fan?
I had one that was built into the house. Really? Not the QC one. I mean, they're great. Oh, it's actually a twofold thing. It blows all the hot air out of the attic.
You don't need an attic fan.
Here, listen to this, Tom. Here's a great explanation of it. Ready? Those EMV chips have a small microprocessor that generates a one-time code for every single transaction, instead of a magnetic strip that has the same information every single time. That little thing creates its own thing for every deal.
I don't doubt it.
They can't duplicate it yet.
Well, but something happened to this guy.
Well, there's no doubt something happened.
I mean, I really want to know what happened, because
I don't know why someone, let's say someone is the first to figure out how to clone them. They go to 7-Eleven and buy something for $7.
Well, the only thing, it's a great way to test it.
Well, I'd rather test it on a $2,000 person.
I'd rather test it on Bill Gates' fucking card.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You got to be able to get that information somehow. Bill Gates is hard to get that information. It's with his ladies.
Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 630 KL. Learn how you can.
Now, what they can do, they have these things that they can read the information. So the credit card number, the expiration date, they can read that shit, and then they can take that info, put it on a magnetic strip, and make a phony baloney card that will work if you swipe. But if you ever look at some of these, do you have a credit card where sometimes that chip doesn't work? If you go to Walmart right now and buy shit and try to swipe your card before you insert it, it'll tell you to fuck off. If it sees the chip and there's a problem, then you're allowed to swipe it. So even the phony baloney ones are kind of funky because there's no chip on it to give you the opportunity.
Well, they may have a chip, it just fails each time to read.
Maybe.
And then you're in, it just moves it over.
If you're with AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, you're just paying too much.
And it says here, Dan should get a new air conditioner. That fucking thing is almost 40 years old.
It's not.
You live up in the mountains,
No.
No, so listen, you don't even know this part of
cheap.
the story.
I'm thrifty.
Yeah.
Cheap.
You want to hear
All
fucking
you
the
can
cheapest
eat?
shit I ever heard.
No, that's you.
It was like 100 fucking degrees out, 2 weeks ago, okay? So instead of turning the air conditioner on, you ready for this? He goes up to a second story, grabs a fucking mattress from the guest room, and brings it down to his basement to sleep in the basement.
Sleeping bedrooms are cool. Cheap is Mark goes to the all-you-can-eat and then orders extra at the end and then takes it home.
They like that.
That's cheap. That's cheap. I'm thrifty. Cheap is not paying your due diligence. You have a bag of candy at your thing for people to eat. Mark goes and takes that candy, dumps it in his bag,
Mark
and
brings
goes.
his own bag. Yeah, that's how cheap Mark is. Yeah, he carries his own bag with him.
You know what? Fuck you.
That's cheap. That's cheap.
Maggiano's prefers to take food.
See, I sleep when I come back because my girlfriend and I argue about the temperature. Oh. She's always cold.
Are we on? No.
I lived in it.
So we got like 30 seconds, Lisa.
It's like 75,
12.
She likes that?
12. I like that.
You know, I'm just like,
I love the place.
I go in and it's dark and I find it quiet.
It's quite cool.
The dogs are on the bed with me. They're down there.
And that's another thing I told her. The dogs go downstairs with me. They're smart too.
Yeah, you know what? He's so cheap he won't get a wife. He sleeps with his dog. I think that's illegal in some states.
Smart.
Let me guess, you get a jar of peanut butter.
No.
Come over here, Fido.
That's where when he was in Oklahoma, he moved there. He's the one that coined the word sweeter than the stump roll calf.
So Dan used to get a sheep and put it up next to a cliff so it would keep backing up.
That's why he wore cowboy
That's
boots.
why they wear the boots. You hook them.
He would take the hooves and put them in his cowboy boots.
Those are all old jokes.
Where sheep are sheep. No. Where men are men and sheep are scared. That was Lancaster.
Hi, Tom Martino. Listen, we are running out of time for this hour, but this is really important. And Gordon, we are going to give it the attention it deserves because everything we're reading is that these chips cannot be duplicated. They must be in person. Yet you say you used yours at around the same time. Please hang on, Gordon. We're going to come back to you, and we'll explain to you the difference between a swipe and using the chip and using the debit or the credit feature. And everyone with one of these cards should be concerned. We'll examine it coming back on the Troubleshooter Show.
I don't even know where my debit card is. I just threw it in my safe. I asked him.
I never use one ever.
No,
Never.
I don't even carry it.
I don't have one.
Well, I asked him not to send one to me, and they sent it anyway. So, I just threw it in the safe.
On the server screen.
Well, if you cash a check there, if you go there and cash a check.
Now, I need to find this picture you sent.
Even
Send it by email.
I know.
Dan,
I
did
do
you
everything.
send a picture by email?
No. I sent it by
Text? Okay, good. You sent it, so I look for dumbass. Oh, that's how I had you written that.
That's Mark.
So when I had the Goodyears,
Mark, you'll have a Genesis before we come back in.
that's fine. So when I had the Goodyears, and through our credit card processor, they just started making a switch over to the chips. So if you waited past a certain date, listen to this, man. If you waited past a certain date and anybody using a swipe card in there contested it, you automatically lose. It doesn't. They could have came in, signed the credit card receipt. I could have them on video, everything. It wouldn't matter. But if I didn't switch over to the chip shit, they wouldn't even fucking care.
Yeah, the liability is 100% of the purchase.
100%. I switch them motherfuckers over way before the date.
My accountant does a bunch of different restaurants, and the guys going around town doing that.
Just getting killed. Yep.
Just getting there. Contesting.
They don't even ask.
2 or 3 bottles of wine, 4 or 5 people, $500-600 bill.
Get 10 different liquor stores.
And they're not covered by insurance. And they was what?
They would decline.
They would say, hey, I didn't do it. They'd contest it.
So you're saying that guy was doing it?
He didn't have a chip machine. You had the split.
The credit card companies,
I thought maybe
if you didn't switch over, you were fucked. That's why the new ones don't let you do that.
How about if you damage your chip?
No, it's
the machine will know the chip is there.
The machine was the liability point. Is if you didn't update your machine.
Yeah.
So he knew. The guy going around knew this.
Oh my God, it wasn't one guy. Everybody.
It was one of those TikTok or meme things.
Oh, really?
People were putting it out to give a preview.
That's how they got everybody to switch over, though.
When did this just happen lately?
About 3-4 years ago.
Oh, more than that. Probably 5 to 7.
Wow, that hurt restaurants.
Because it was at least 5 to 7 because I wasn't, I remember being pissed because I sold after I had to upgrade 5 terminals.
Well, what was that cost? What did it take the cost to upgrade?
I think I bought my equipment outright. I think it wasn't more. It was like $150 a machine. No, but it's a pain in the ass. There's more to it, man.
I think it's just educating people too.
Right.
You know, they're so used to, swiping.
You just gotta get burned one time.
Oh man, you could get burned for big time because they don't even ask. They didn't even care after
No,
that.
they just kicked it. You see that in your bank account, and
There was nothing you could do.
Well, keep that guy's name.
Oh, that's true. You could always go find that guy yourself.
Oh, I wonder there. You could sue him probably small claims court.
You sure could. You absolutely could. Yeah, just because the credit card company
Because
signed
he would have signed it. This is your signature.
Yep.
You know.
Another one that we had going on, it only happened to us twice before we figured it out. The guy would come in with his friend, and they're both talking back and forth, and you put it up to sign, his friend signs it instead of him.
Then the signatures don't match.
And you're not quite sure who's who anyway. I mean, it's not like you know both of them.
A lot of times, if it's swiped, though, you probably win that one, just because it was swiped.
It went back and forth about 6 times.
Did you ultimately get it?
I ultimately gave up because like $110, and I was like, you know what, good for you.
Yeah, it's already wasted 5 hours of my life.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing there is good to take on the small claims court to make sure.
Well, we had video, we had everything.
Yeah, but dude, when you get hit with a check even for a 70 or a $24.95 oil change bad check, how much fucking time am I going to put into this?
No, initially it was, I'm going to win this because this is like
right.
what you did.
It's a competition at that time, and you want to stop those people.
Well, no, when you call the guy up and he just kind of chuckles and says, good luck, and hangs up.
Just like that brake guy.
Really? Good luck. All right, here we come.
Right. Like that brake guy and stuff that, then said send an appointment and didn't do it and stuff, and all he wanted was free brakes. And I think of
what do you mean free brakes?
He had a guy there.
The cow guy?
No, this is another one.
What was the cow guy's deal?
I quoted him up front based on what he told me, and once I got into the car, I couldn't do it for that price.
Carburetor rebuild,
but he led me to believe that there were certain things that were already done that were not done.
Yeah, okay.
So I called him back up, said, dude, I need another couple $100. I can't.
So you didn't charge him more?
No,
you just said I need more in order to do it.
Charge him at all.
See, that's fucked up.
Oh, it was fucked up.
So why did he dress it? What was the whole cow thing?
I don't know. You have to ask him. He's probably listening.
Who am I doing? Who is it? Okay. I'm doing the jet.
But he was like, okay, for the next 200, but then I want like a 5-year guarantee. I want this, I want this, I want this. I'm like, you know what?
Say that again, Tom.
Like I say, we're doing that. Exactly. I think that's the smartest.
And I had it all. I had the carburetor half apart. I put it all back together, put it all back on, make sure it's all right. So I just done it. We're done.
And I know you lost time.
All right, hold on, guys.
96 right now in Denver. With your impact traffic and weather, I'm Jenny LaRose, 630
Blistering summertime heat and drop. Revitalize them. Revive water fertilizers and survivors. Rejuvenates dry and lightly drought stressed lawns. Revive safely feeds and improves your watering. Spread it just all summer. You'll save with Revive.
All right, check it out. A 25-year bumper-to-bumper warranty. No, I'm not talking about a car. How about a 25-year energy production guarantee? Yep. You know who I'm talking about, Genesis Solar. These guys can do a free site evaluation, tell you how much money you can save with solar They do it remotely. It only takes 20 minutes. You got to give them a call. You might as well find out how much you can save. And if they don't live up, that's what that production guarantee is all about. If they say you're going to save $1,000 a year and it's only $800, they're going to cut you a check for that $200. No money down, great financing. Check out solar, and guess what? You own it. It's not a lease. GenesisSolarCO.com. GenesisSolarCO.com.
When he called up and stuff, I talked to him and everything and stuff, and called Kevin, yeah, that's what it is.
So he was upset that the job was going to cost more.
Yes.
See, if he showed up and you said, "Oh, well, I quoted you $500, but now it's $700,"
then he'd
well, yeah, he would. But fuck, I mean,
he put it all back. He knew it was going to be an issue.
How much more was it?
A couple hundred. Because he told me he just had the carburetor rebuilt, so I don't need this, 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 and this. And it's like, okay, based on that, I need about.
No, I understand exactly what you're saying.
When the kit's 85 or floats this, I mean, I would have to go further.
And I don't know why did you dress up in a cow suit then?
So I wish you would live closer, because I would have liked to go in there and go talk to.
What store was
what's
that?
with the cow?
And he was
right
just
on Complex there.
he was just there in the cow suit out front.
Yeah,
Not for 45 minutes.
For half an hour, 45
And he
minutes.
told me he was going to do it, not the cow suit. There's two guys. He was in the sign, and somebody was in a cow suit.
A cow suit.
Cow head suit.
That's one I've never done.
He quoted you. That's why he did that.
What do you say? Mark would pick you?
Mark's major. I listen to that. He says that he does that.
He's got his own cow suit.
I said you can do whatever you want. Just stay off his property.
I wish I didn't have sprinklers or something.
Oh, that would have been the best.
Troubleshooter's gonna help the common man.
This is the Troubleshooter Show. Now, Tom Martino.
Hi, Tom here. Welcome to the show. This hour brought to you by Harris Family Law. That's the family lawyers that can help you through a divorce, through a troubled time. And they can do it without running up a big bill, because they do collaborative law. That means that if you're going through a divorce or a custody issue or a separation, they can do unbundled services, meaning they can do it a little at a time. Whatever you need done, they can do. You can do some of it yourself. They can advise you, or they can do the whole shooting match. And then they do collaborative law, which means they agree not to file motions and not to do a lot of court time without first discussing everything first with the other party. They get the other lawyers to agree to this. They believe in getting things done cooperatively, yet they will make sure your rights are preserved. Harris Family Law. Just a great combination of advice and legal help when you need it. 303-515-5000 for free consultations. 303-515-5000. Deputy Doc has some follow-ups. Deputy Doc, go ahead, sir. What's going on? What are we working on right now?
Well, we had two calls yesterday. One from Mary, who's concerned about a break in a covering on her patio.
Yeah, what I want to just explain this basically. As you go out of her door, there is there's a walkway, and this walkway has a finish on it, and this finish is coming up and chipping and causing what she believes a safety hazard. What about it?
Well, it's sort of a rubberized fabric.
Yeah, whatever it is, it needs work.
Yeah, the defect is not that great. Her daughter came over and put
the defect looks pretty crazy to me. I mean, I can see where somebody could trip over it.
Right. But her daughter came over and put two mats on top of it.
Good.
So right now there's no problem with falling. She wants us to call the HOA. They promised that they were going to fix it a year ago. So she wants us to call the HOA and get on their back and see if we can fight a fire.
And it's a pretty basic request. I mean, the thing is in disrepair and should be fixed. It's right near the stairs. Yeah, I agree with her.
So I'm going to call the HOA this afternoon and get on their case, see if we can get them out there to fix it. And the second issue was Melinda called up because she wants to move out of her Section 8 housing. So here's the summary. She has a coupon for a maximum rent of $1,524 per month. Of that $1,524, because of her income, she must pay $621.
Right.
And the coupon will pay the other $900 and change. The problem is she can't find anybody that's willing to take the coupon for that amount. She's looking for a two-bedroom apartment. but she has 2 cats, and she and her boyfriend both smoke. So all we can do is just ask our listeners if anybody has an apartment that they are willing to rent for a max of $1,524, please call us or contact us at help@troubleshooter.com, and we will get in touch with Melinda and have them get together.
But hold on a second. We're asking if someone wants to rent to her, but they have to take part of the rent in a voucher.
That's correct.
And that voucher is guaranteed by the government?
Correct.
And why are people hesitant on taking that voucher?
Well, it's not so much they're hesitant. It's hard to find a 2-bedroom apartment for $1,524 max.
Yeah, you're right. Especially, and also, they smoke. No one wants smokers.
Exactly.
Oh, they're smokers?
Yeah.
And they got 2 cats?
I told them that 2 cats and smoking is a big...
It's going to be tough.
I mean, honest to God, I mean, and you can't do it, man. I would never do it. Smokers, 2 cats.
Right. I told Melinda, all we can do is put it out like we just did, and if anybody has a lead, just let us know at help@troubleshooter.com, and we'll get in touch with Melinda.
Wow. Anyway, that is a long shot, but thank you. I appreciate that, Deputy Doc. Gordon has a very serious problem. And this is really serious. He noticed a debit card charge for $1,500 and for $500 on his card. And then when he investigated it, they gave him a new debit card. I want to ask you something on this debit card thing, Gordon. Did they when they did this for you, when they replaced the card, did they put back that money the first time?
They did put it back, but then when these 26 charges happened again 2 weeks later, those 2 charges were made again.
Okay, so Gordon, they helped you the first time, erased those charges or recredited your account, and issued you a new debit card. 2 weeks after the debit card was issued, you had 26 more withdrawals totaling $6,400 show up.
That's correct.
Now, they say they won't credit you with the money because their records show that these withdrawals were done with a debit card using the chip technology. Is that right?
That's correct.
Are they positive, do you know, the chip was used? Did they actually say the chip was used?
Tom, I'm just reading you, like I said, the letter that I got, the refusal letter. They're just saying that the microchip technology contained inside the debit card was used to make the disputed transactions.
Okay.
Requiring the user of the card to be physically present.
That's true.
That means that microchip talked to that, whatever they stuck it into, that point-of-sale machine, and it exchanged information. Basically, it would send one key, and then the credit card would answer the other key. There's no other way it can happen besides the card being present.
Because I just happen to believe you, I don't think you would do this and just call me and make... I don't know, I believe you. Something's going on because we are told that these chip cards can't be duplicated and they can't be cloned. But something obviously is happening to you. Now, these 26 charges were all made in South Florida, right?
That's correct.
But even if you showed dates and times you were in Colorado, that would not prove that the card was not in South Florida. For example, you could have sent it to a friend, wink, wink, in South Florida and had them make purchases for you so you could dispute them. However, you said you had something else that would be irrefutable. And that is that you not only were here, but your card was here and being used at precisely the same time.
I bet it wasn't used by the chip.
Hold on. What I'm asking, Gordon, is on the transactions where you say you used it in Colorado, do you know if the chip technology was used or was it swiped? Do you know the difference?
Well, all I did was put my card in, and I asked for my PIN number, which now have learned you never do it. Put that in there. I put my PIN number in.
So you were the ones in Florida put through, and I don't know if your account allows this, but can you use your debit card as a credit card if you want?
Yes, at my new bank I can. Yes.
No, I'm asking this particular card at TCF Bank. Was it?
No, it was used strictly as a debit card.
That's how you used it. But if you wanted to use it as a credit card, could you have done that?
Yes.
Okay, so your original debit card could have been used as a credit card. Is that right?
Yes.
And now, were those transactions in South Florida done as a debit card where they would need a PIN number, or was it done as a credit transaction that would not require a PIN number?
It would be. They were done without a PIN number.
So, 26 withdrawals were made in South Florida using your card. It had to have been physically present according to the technology, but it was put through as a credit.
Yes.
And your card, when it was here, was using chip technology as a debit card where you punched in your PIN number.
Yes, sir.
If you can show that both cards were used in the same day, it would be enough proof that I think you would win your lawsuit in small claims court. I don't see how that they can say that card was used in South Florida when you were using it here. There's no way. So, Mark,
we're assuming something, though, and I'm going to look up the
What are we
answer.
assuming?
We're assuming when you put a PIN number in,
it's using the chip.
Correct, and I don't know if that's true.
Well, if he didn't swipe it, he used the chip. There's only 2 ways to input information on that. Oh, wait, there's 3 ways. The newest technology is tapping the card. Do you have that card, too, that you can tap?
On my new card, I can do that, yes.
Okay.
I don't have to put in a PIN if I use my debit card chip.
You use your chip, you don't put in a debit
If
card?
I say credit, now if I say it's a debit card, you have to use the PIN.
Of course, that's what he just said. He was using it as a debit card on purpose.
I wonder if the bank is just mistaken, Tom, and how that...
There's something wrong here because, like I said, I believe Gordon, so I'm going off that assumption. He's not wasting our time. And Gordon is being screwed here by technology, and we're being told it can't happen. But I want to walk this through with you, Gordon. Even if we get an attorney possibly involved, there's something wrong. If you truly have a map of your transactions here in Colorado that correspond with the ones in Florida. So I'm going to want some documents from you before we get involved. Right. Hold on. I'm Tom Martino. Everyone with a chip card needs to be concerned.
Mark, how do you think that happens?
Oh, hold on. I got to figure this part out.
Major League Baseball, Mark.
Truth behind the tragedy
after Granite.
1981.
Or you want to do it first, so I can. You want to. Whatever. I don't care.
Wealthy Ohio family.
I don't care, actually. Yeah, let me do it first.
Okay. Then research this.
They're not telling us everything. That's not a crime. There is too much time.
Listen to season 2 of Bigger Ghosts from the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, check it out. MLB All-Star Sunday. It's here. Let's face it, it's Friday. It's 2 days away. There's still tickets available. You got to go check this out. You're going to see the biggest celebrities down there. You're going to see MLB and Rockies legends playing. It's going to be a fun-filled day. Get the family out. Everybody's been cooped up. Check it out. Get tickets now before they're gone. AllStarGame.com. AllStarGame.com.
I'm going to give you a unique and kind of a different way to do your home improvements. If it involves stone, stone is not replaced very easily. So you should shop for your stone first, whether it's granite or it's maybe marble or quartzite. GraniteLiquidators.com will sell you that at wholesale, and you buy the entire slab or 2 or 3. However much you need. You get to shop the slab itself, so you know what's going to go on your shower walls or countertops or backsplash or windowsills, wherever you're using it. Now, here's the deal. Go there first. They'll put your name on it if you buy it and store it for you until you're ready to use it. So no matter who you use to do the work, you can buy your stone at graniteliquidators.com. You can save money. You can be in full control of what you buy and when you buy it, and then decorate around it. Graniteliquidators.com for more information. The yard's up at 5075, whatever. It's up in Wheat Ridge. You'll find it. And it's a great operation. They have everything you need. 5075 Tabor Street in Wheat Ridge. Graniteliquidators.com.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes. Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for...
How much money was he taking on his account?
Wait, it's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool and 92% of colon cancer.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients with Impounded. Any positive results should be...
Oh, you get notifications.
I get notifications, but I always log in.
You do?
Holy cow.
For colonoscopy,
I don't actually practice.
adenomas, inflammatory
And I don't do it
certain hereditary
maybe twice a month.
personal
Really?
family history of colon cancer.
No, I start the coffee spot and I walk in the office, I log on, by the time I'm done, the coffee's ready.
No, I look at my Schwab account all the time.
But to me, that's an account. You gotta keep track. You can't wait 2 weeks later. I mean,
You know, one thing I don't
because you can log on any account and lock your card.
Yeah.
You know, if there's a charge that I don't know, it's
of course, you're a businessman.
Well, but still, I have personal accounts. Yeah.
You know, one thing I really love, like I do with Wells Fargo, I know it's, people say it's cheap, like the taking pictures of cashing a check, how easy it is to just take a picture and stuff and just like.
I don't go to the bank anymore.
Yeah.
No, I deposit to my phone. Yeah.
It's so.
Yeah.
You know what else? You might even be able to postpone 2 mortgage payments.
But I've had issues with accounts before, you know. And I just want to know when the issue's happening, not 2 weeks later.
You're right. You're right. That's not a bad idea.
Because if they get a couple $100, you know, and you don't get it back, oh well. But if they get $7 grand, then you're.
No, you're right. Then it's always harder.
Hey there, homeowners. Are you experiencing pipe leaks? Is your water
This guy on YouTube, this is kind of funny.
suffering from low water pressure?
Where is it
These
here?
are signs of
The
water
3 biggest lies told by cowboys. I won the belt buckle at the rodeo. Paid cash for the pickup. Really, I was just trying to help that sheep over the fence. MH.
Repiped in just 1 to 2 days at half the cost of a plumber with a lifetime guarantee. So say goodbye to leaks once and for all. Enjoy a pipe leak-free home and eliminate the risk of...
You know, there's a study that came out by the Democrats, whatever, or says that there's absolutely no things that they're saying that the shortage of workers is because of unemployment.
Of course.
There's no instances that they can find.
What bank does he have?
I can give him 5. TCF.
TCF?
Yeah.
I can give him 5.
People that come there.
No, I know 5 guys that I tried to hire.
Oh, okay. They have to come to you to ask for a job, and then they said,
No, I know who they are.
Oh,
When I was looking, I called them. You know, one's related, and they're working under the table.
Oh, there they are.
And collecting employment, yeah.
How are they? What kind of jobs are they doing on the table?
Shift hiring gears with Indeed.
So,
There you go.
my
I can't find the answer to my question because I just don't know.
They
Show
can
your
compete with
ability
me
on
and
things
work
like
for me.
computer proficiency or
Like
customer
a double
service.
whammy.
Indeed skills.
I tell you, I can't believe how dumb
Visit Indeed.com/credit.
the Democratic politicians. I'm not saying that Republicans are all that good.
They don't believe anything what they say.
You're probably right. It's a vote buying thing.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter.
303-713-TALK. Mark, are you finding anything like this where duplicate charges were made in different areas and how it can happen?
So listen, there's a couple things here. One, you can, I can't, but someone can get the information off of a chipped card.
Okay.
They can get that information. They can put it on a magnetic strip in a blank credit card, and you could charge stuff with
That's
it.
called cloning.
That's cloning it, but you're not cloning the chip. You're taking the information and creating the old style.
The old style clone.
Yeah.
But they told him specifically.
Yeah.
Now, they could be lying to him.
Well, that
Gordon,
could be one thing.
Gordon, they could be lying to you because you have a chip card. They could be assuming it was done with a chip, but they'd have to show that in court. And I'm recommending we make this a test case, because here's the bottom line. You swear to God you have a debit card that you have never used in Florida, nor have any of your friends. You were here in Colorado the whole time, and 26 charges showed up from this bank or on this bank account. Now,
let me share something with you. Before I I made my initial phone call to your office. A gentleman by the name of Dan called me back and left a message. I sent an email to your office on the 26th of June. I have 7 attachments on that email with a cover letter. One of those attachments is the King Soopers corporate report, and it would show those charges.
I know, I know. But no matter what you sent before, I want you to send to me something, okay? I need to put it all in one spot quickly. I want the King Soopers record of transactions. All right.
That's on that. That's one of the.
No, I have that.
We do have it. Okay, we do.
But what we need is to make sure the King Soopers ones were also done by that exact same chip.
Yeah, because let's put it this way, Gordon, if they were not done by chip, then they can say that your card was cloned and the stripe was used here at the same time the chip was used. And that is possible. What is impossible would be both chips being used. And that's what we have to prove. If you cannot prove that it was done as a debit, now wait a minute, can a debit card be swiped or must it be inserted?
I cannot find that anywhere. And whether or not if you use the pin, does it use the magnetic or does it use the chip? I can't figure it out.
So, Gordon, we're going to have to investigate it, but that's why you called the show. So here's what we're going to do. First, you're going to, Suze, do we have the record from TCF Bank? Did he include that as well?
Because that's what a smart thief would do. Think about this. He would clone it, and I'm not saying this guy did it, but he would clone it.
And use it, yeah.
He'd send the original to Florida,
right,
where they're using it the can't break it way, and then use the other one here by swiping it wherever you could.
Right. So the TCF records, did you send that with your email?
Yes.
What's that?
Yes.
I know. Okay. So, Gordon, did you send us the TCF letter to you, the rejection letter?
Yes, I did.
All right. So, Suze, do we have all of that? Then he doesn't have to resend it. Okay. Gordon, we're going to look into this. She's going to forward that stuff to me. And I think that the steps we're going to take, we have to figure out how your card was used. Without us going into all of that, do you remember, did King Soopers tell you how your card was used?
No, they did not.
But TCF can. TCF can. You can ask TCF how those. Why don't you dispute those charges?
I have disputed them.
No, I'm talking about the ones at King Soopers.
Okay.
Do you know why I'm saying that?
No, I don't.
Because listen to the logic. They're going to bend over backwards to prove that you used the chip, and they're not going to refund you the money. So what will that do? They will be contradicting themselves. They will be saying that you used the chip in 2 different places at the same time. So, Gordon, without telling them what you're doing, you need to call, just like you did on the other one, and say, you know what? I don't think these look familiar to me right now. I want to dispute these charges. Could you look into them? Then you're going to wait.
They said they can't do that because my account is closed.
No, they can. They have a record of those transactions.
Okay.
Wait. Did you ask that? Gordon, I refuse to believe you asked that. You didn't even understand it before you talked to us. So you're telling me, hold on, you're telling me that you already asked TCF Bank for you to check out the transactions you made at King Soopers?
No, not King Soopers, the ones in Florida.
What I'm asking, Gordon, is I'm asking you to cross-reference the King Soopers transactions with TCF Bank and find out if the chip was used.
Okay.
They have to be able to tell you that. And if they tell you not, then they're liars. Okay? You got to help out here, man. You got to help out. Do you understand why we care on whether it's a strip and the chip? Do you understand the difference?
Yes, I do.
The strip can be cloned and used in 5 different places. The chip cannot be cloned and cannot be used in more than one place. If we prove that the chip was used in Florida and in Colorado on the same day, that is physically impossible. But if it shows the chip was used in Florida and the stripe, magnetic stripe, was used here, it's not going to help you. We're going to go on the assumption that the chip was used in both places because you said you inserted the card, did not swipe it, and you said that you punched in your debit card number. Now, the only way you can insert it for it to be a swipe is in one of those machines like at the airport. For that one, whether it's a chip or a stripe, you do the same thing. But on all other machines, there are 2 ways or 3 ways to present your credit card. One is to swipe it into a little slot from top to bottom or left to right. The other one is to insert it so the chip is read. And the third way is to tap it. So when you did it here in Colorado at King Soopers, you remember inserting it and then punching in your debit, right? Your PIN.
Punching in my PIN number, yes.
And then pulling the card back out. You did not swipe it in the narrow little slit.
No.
Something's weird with what he just said, though.
What?
So these cards with chips, they don't ask you, do you want to do debit or do you want to use it as credit? They don't ask you for your PIN number. It's not like a choice. When you insert it, it uses the chip. It's either a chip and signature card, which all of us have, or it's a chip and PIN card, meaning it'll never ask you for a signature.
No.
It'll always ask you for a PIN.
Okay, Mark, I beg to differ. I have one that I can put in, and it says credit or debit. If I say credit, it goes through. If I say debit, it asks for a PIN.
On a chip?
Yes, it asks for a PIN. When I put it in, and then it asks me for either, which one I want. Only on my debit card. It doesn't ask me for that on my credit cards.
Of course.
But on my one debit card, because I hardly ever use it, that's why I remember it. I wondered why I was being asked that. And then I realized, Mark, I had pulled out the wrong card. I just happened to remember that because that happened to me the other day where I inserted it thinking it was a credit card and they asked me which I wanted, which I didn't understand why it asked me that. Listen, we're going to get to the bottom of this. Meanwhile, everyone else, Joseph, hang on. Anyone else having a problem with a chip card like this, let us know.
This is
Mark,
Denver's
tell me
Talk.
what the bottom line. Do you think the guy's lying?
Yes.
Do you think Gordon's lying?
Or someone in his family's okie doke.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Well, then how did he use it then?
Right.
This report is sponsored
I don't
by
know.
West
I don't know why. I still don't understand why. Why would he say debit and put a PIN number? Why would anybody do that?
Also
Because he wanted to use his debit card.
Especially slow on that eastbound.
Why would he want to have to put his? When's the last time you put your PIN number in?
I have a PIN number associated with my debit card.
When's the last time you put it in somewhere unless it's in the ATM?
I haven't used it.
Well, I don't know anybody that does. I've never fucking heard of
So
it.
you're doubting he did it? King Soopers has a record of him doing it.
With a high in mid-80s.
I mean, that's what he's telling us. I mean, at some point, Mark, I don't think people are that fucking elaborate.
No, but that chip, unless if the bank is lying or mistaken, that chip was in Florida.
Right. That's right. So something's wrong. I get it.
Then he must have a phony baloney card.
Was there a second card made?
And you can help build it. Go to West
It doesn't matter because the chip's still different.
FixMyHome.com is the website. New HVAC systems, that's heating and air, for $77 a month. Depending on what you need, you should call them for details. Here's why. If you wait till it gets cold to get a furnace, or you wait till the middle of the summer here, we are going to come up on some shortages. We're already feeling the supply chain tightening. It's true. I'm not trying to panic you. They bought up a bunch. They're ready for it. But they're not going to last forever. And you need to get in on it. If your system's getting old, at least check it out. FixMyHome.com, 720-526-3939. Mile High Estate Planning is now Blake Harris Law. Let me tell you about that. Blake Harris Law is where you call and ask questions. And you're not charged. You just wonder about, do I need a trust? Do I need a will? What kind of a will? What do I need for this bank account? What do I need about this? What do I do about this? Don't ever try to do it yourself. So many people make stupid mistakes like quit claiming the house to their kids before they die, and they ruin everything. Please don't do it. Ask Blake first. 833-ASK-BLAKE. He only charges flat rates for exactly what he does for you. So you're not running up a bill talking to him. 833-ASK-BLAKE.
The roller coaster stock markets make
You know what, Kevin? Why don't they just put that directly on?
I don't know if there has to be a vent.
Oh, that's right, you said about air.
That's what I'm thinking.
Do I kill Gordon now?
No.
Not yet?
Yeah, well, let him hang
The
on.
Gordon hour.
No, you know what?
No, it's a good problem. It's interesting.
It is an amazing problem.
Yeah. I just wonder if the bank has it wrong and it wasn't used as a chip in Florida.
They might just be bullshitting and
Yeah.
get them off their back.
Yeah.
You know what? I find banks are not that, I mean, they're not that forthright. They might not want to fuck with it.
$6,200 in charges. It's quite.
64, right?
Oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's a lot of coin.
For nothing. Start the freedom process. Let Timeshare Freedom Group free you from your overpriced, unavailable.
I see, so Mark, you're saying every card has its own chip, even if they're duplicate cards.
The leaders in the industry.
Say that again.
Even if they're duplicate cards that you ask for, there's different chips.
Legally and permanently. We're so good at it. We even
Just like if you report your card stolen, they send you a new one. It's not the same one.
Right, no, they're used to
the freedom process. Call Timeshare Freedom Group now. Because you have better things to do with your money. 855-48 cancel.
Well,
That's
I got cards from my guys.
855-48 cancel.
I could be one of your guys. Send me a card.
Talk about Blue Sky CVT. It is literally a switch for my ACT. And Blue Sky CVT, the more that I am aware of how much it is helping, the more I like it. Not only the balm I've used, that shoulder recently, I still keep using the balm on my shoulder, and it really helps me. I use tinctures in the morning.
They still take these cards.
And some inflammation reduction. But now what I really like is the sleep gels.
That's right, they were Americans.
Right. That was the only card. Those sleep gels about 30 minutes.
And then pizza got in.
Okay, listen to this.
And sleep. Also, let me talk about the Pro Gels.
Andy's a genius at these water heaters and all kinds of hot water and all kinds of and plumber. He's a great guy.
30% off your first order with using the promo code.
He said there's definitely something wrong with this installation. That should not melt anything like that. And if you look closer, it's doing more than just melting the top. It's melting the actual. Just look at it closer. It's melting the actual thicker washer. He said that's more of his concern. That safety covering, that little thin covering, it means nothing. They should have peeled that off. But the actual washer is too hot. He says that washer is just for aesthetics, just to cover up the hole. It's a trim washer, okay? It has nothing to do with the function. But the fact that the exhaust is that hot shows there's a problem. He says the problem is it's not getting enough combustible air, fresh air. He said that's it. If they simply are not balancing the system.
Enough combustible fresh air
water intake. He said, I run a 6-inch round from the outside right to the base of the heater to make sure it's getting plenty of fresh air for the combustion process.
Oh, so if this is in with his furnace, then his furnace is going to have issues too. Usually,
or there might be one, he says, for each. he said there might be one for the furnace and not for the water heater.
After the All-Stars leave town,
They don't. He's saying he's betting it's not enough pressure combustible air.
So it has nothing to do with the venting.
No, he said the venting looks regular. It looks normal.
No, I mean that the venting is plugged
Well,
up.
we don't know. It could be plugged up, for God's sakes. I mean, he's just saying, I told him everything else was normal. That's what I told him.
Right.
So I didn't know. I mean, it could be a blocked vent. But if it's not blocked...
And 4 different water heaters have done this.
Well, yeah, so it's not the water heater.
Right. Oh, no, I agree.
So it's either the venting to the top or not enough...
And they charge another $400
All right,
something dollars.
then this guy knows. I mean, this guy has solved so many problems for us. He's saying it's
Fresh air. I never would have thought that.
not enough combustion air. It's an imbalanced flame.
But that would make the water heaters very inefficient. And wouldn't that create carbon monoxide and stuff too?
No, why would it create?
Because it's just excessive exhaust.
Hi, Tom Martino, your
Shooter 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Don't forget realcbdthatworks.com. You can get realcbdthatworks.com at that website, realcbdthatworks.com. 30% off if you use Tom in the promo code. Let's keep going here. Joseph, this is very interesting. You heard what happened to Gordon. He's saying while he was using his debit card here in Colorado, it was being used in Florida as well, both using the chip. The bank said that's impossible. Obviously, he was committing fraud, but they didn't realize it was being used in both places at the same time. I want to take the bank to court on this, but Mark says he doesn't really believe it. He tends to think there's some shenanigans going on. What do you think, Joseph? What's happening to you?
Well, Monday I was at the outlet stores. I did 2 purchases, and when I got into my car to leave, as I was driving, I got a call from my card services saying that there was charges being attempted on my card. And I told them I had my card with me, and I found out that somehow they got my number or whatever, and they made $258 worth of charges.
But that's not the same. In other words, they didn't present the chip, though, did they?
No, I don't know.
Yeah. See, there are all kinds of ways, Joseph, to cheat with a credit card. That's not what we're disputing. If this was just a normal credit card charge, we wouldn't even be taking it. We would just be saying, dispute it and all's well. This is where supposedly the bank is saying the chip was used in South Florida. And Gordon is saying he used his chip the very same day in Denver. And it can't be in 2 places at once. And according to the technology, it can't be duplicated. John, what's your comment? John?
Hey, Tom. So I called my credit union, and they said that a debit card can be used as a credit card or debit card, and they said that it's safer to use it by not putting in your PIN. So, you know how you can go to a store and it'll say, is this credit or debit?
Right.
If you say, no, it's not debit, then it'll want your zip code.
Right, but here's the deal, though. It still doesn't explain how somebody would use a chip in South Florida when he supposedly used his chip here, whether it was for debit or credit. It doesn't explain it.
But we don't know that. We don't know how he used it here.
No, not technically. He could be mistaken. That's right. He is claiming...
Well, I don't even think King Soopers, a normal employee at King Soopers, is going to know.
No,
it's going to be his credit card company. And he says they won't talk to him anymore.
That's true. So you may have to do some discovery. I mean, this may... You know, Gordon, this is worth it. And I really want to look into this. There's something wrong here. I don't know. Oh, you hung him. Okay, not Gordon. Listen, we are going to work on this, Gordon. Again, you need to lean on your bank to give you details on the transactions at King Soopers. By the way, is there any way to know on a statement how the card was used? Do the statements outline how the cards are used? I'll bet you they do. What do you think? Suze, do you think the statement shows whether it was swiped or inserted or chipped?
I actually just talked to my banker, and she said on our end, on the statements, like on the user end, customer end, you can't tell, but on their end, they can tell if it was a chip. or swipe. The other thing is, I don't really see the bank denial letter in this email, and she thought I should look at that.
Gordon, you didn't send us the bank denial letter.
Yes, it's in the, you'll see it, the letter, I bracketed it and underlined it where they said that I had to be there personally.
All right, hold on a second. Suzanne's going to talk to you off the air. All right, let's get to Rick. Rick, what's going on with you?
Hey, Tom, guys, I'm going to go to different direction.
That's fine.
I have to have this conversation with my daughter, and I don't know how to proceed. We were out of the country, and she got the Excel scam and sent obviously 7-Eleven money orders to a company, and she got scammed with Excel.
How much? How much?
Over $800.
Now,
So
she sent $800 to this company. Was she behind in Excel? Is that why she did it?
No, she once was behind, and this company must have gotten this information that said because you were delinquent once, we now need a $500 deposit.
Oh.
And so, unfortunately, I was on some lounge chair in Mexico, and when I finally picked up the phone call to talk to her, she was already over $800 in the hole, and I said, Mom, I told my daughter it's a scam. So we got back yesterday. So my question is this to you parents. I have to have a conversation with her tonight. How do I address it?
Well, I mean, I would tell her simply you don't ever trust anyone. There are so many scams going on right now. You can't trust anyone. And most of the time, you're not going to get phone calls from legit people unless it's followed up by real mail or emails that she can verify. I mean, I don't know what else you say, Rick.
Never, ever pay for anything with a prepaid card.
No, she
from
sent
7-Eleven or Target or anywhere.
This was a money order, I think he said. Didn't you say a money order, Rick?
No, they made her go to 7-Eleven and do this thing through Zelle. And
do
all
what?
That.
Do what, Rick?
Go get a card, some kind of card.
Yeah. Fine. One thing at one.
Where she had to scratch off the PIN number.
Okay, that's ridiculous. Okay, so they were gift cards. See, you said a money order. At first, you said a money order. So here's the deal. Never, I mean, we had people pay with iTunes cards. Why would they believe that Excel or that the police or that the IRS want iTunes cards or Amazon cards or what card did she?
How do I address it without making her feel even worse than how she feels today?
You know what? Sometimes they have to feel a little bad. I mean, I don't know.
Hey, where are the old cards at? Does she have them?
Yeah, she still has them.
I'd be curious. I would, just for the hell of it, man.
Yeah.
I would call up those folks, like if it's Applebee's, whatever it is. I don't care what it is. I'd call up and see where it was used. I would call up and see where it was used.
And if it was not used yet or cash.
Well, if it's not used, that'd be one good thing.
Then you can say.
But let's say it was used within 5 miles of your house and not overseas somewhere.
Then what? What would that tell you?
I don't know. It would tell me to have a different conversation with my kid,
I don't think. Because what would be in it for her for going and spending her own money so she ends up with her own money?
Was it her money or your money?
No, it was her money.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Then I take all that back.
Yeah. Rick, I don't know, man. There are no magic words. And she is going to feel like she made a mistake. I think that's okay. I really do. We got more coming up on this credit card stuff, too.
Now,
I don't survive.
Who cares how she feels? Who cares how she feels?
That's exactly
to some extent.
What is that picture of the glass, broken glass you got on?
Well, it should have a caption with it.
I can't read it. I got it.
It's just a post somebody made.
Friday afternoon volume flowing around the metro area on I-25, I-70, and 270. And
I thought it was something I could put up
down and say, here's your sign.
Usually, it's the kids that got to go talk to the parents.
Technology, yeah, with the parents.
I want to call just any TCM. It's weird, isn't it? This is a weird problem.
I had all those conversations with my folks.
You did? My mom did it like 3 times.
My dad bought some gift certificates.
Well, no, well, my dad stifled one guy because the guy called up and was like,
taken?
we have a grandson which got arrested while he was on vacation.
All right, Ideal Home Loans. For your next Ideal Home Loan, I've said that thousands of times because I send everyone I know to Ideal Home Loans, and there's a reason for that. I mean, they're not the only lender in the world I love, but I send a great deal, and here's why. They have options that other lenders don't have. The first thing is, do you know that people are starting to hang on right now and hold off on refining? Do you know about 80% of the market right now could save a lot of money refining? Why are you holding off? If you're waiting for rates to go down, you could get stuck, and they're going to go up. Now, even if they do go down with Ideal Home Loans, they will refinance you free of charge. So, idealhomeloans.com. There's no reason not to do it. They're the only ones that'll do that for you. Idealhomeloans.com, 303-867-7000. They're also the only ones that do free second opinions, 303-867-7000. You're not stuck with a lender until after you close. So if you don't like the way you're treated, free second looks, 303-867-7000. Idealhomeloans.com. So people get in trouble, and then they start searching for a criminal defense attorney. Might be a DUI. A lot of people are eating out these days, and barbecues, cookouts. Don't shop when you're in trouble. You don't make good decisions. I've already shopped for you. I can tell you that I know Joe Lazzara personally. He's a great guy. He's a tenacious defender of your rights. If you want someone to fight for you, talk to Joe Lazzara. 303-429-6200. 303-429-6200. Free legal advice, the free consultation, and then when you hire him, it's all flat rates. So you're not nickel and dime. 303-429-6200. I'm a patient of ColoradoPainCare.com. If you go online, you can make an appointment. They'll contact you. They'll pull all the records. You just tell them where you've been and what you've done. They'll work with anyone, and they, all your healthcare providers. They also work with all major insurance. It's really seamless, and you hope painless after a while, right? The first visit for me, they gave me immediate relief, and then they worked with you for more permanent relief, along with physical therapy. 303-GOT-PAIN.
You're having a hard time with your camera in there.
What's our out time? 156?
58:44.
I can take a nap. Wake up, you can do the next part. It's the slowest PC in the building, I'm just sure of it.
Mine has not been slow. Everybody's been complaining.
This one's been slow.
Okay, so since I had to move that Colorado Pain Care back into the last break before the show ended, there's like -3 seconds, so the music to end the show is going to be going when we come back in.
Okay.
Just letting you know.
-3.
Yeah, I was telling my dad, got that call. So he's like, yeah, it's your oldest grandson.
Oh, you got one of those?
My dad. So they were telling my dad, it's your oldest grandson's in jail.
That's a bad one.
And then he's like, oh my God, well, what do we need to do? And he's like, well, and then my dad's like, which one is my oldest one? He couldn't remember which grandson was older. So the guy ended up hanging up on my dad because my dad...
He couldn't remember the
names.
Because that's how they get it.
Trying to get my dad like, oh no.
Is this Joey?
Joey's in jail, really?
I got damned that way once.
My mom, seriously. That's what they do. They go, oh, this is your grandson. Oh, yeah. So you got like, it was in an accident. He got hurt there, or he's got a cold, or...
What? What'd you say?
Just talking about what he said.
Well, I told my dad flat out, if any of my kids end up in jail in Guadalajara or something,
you better call me.
Leave them there. Yeah.
Well, and then I told my mom, I said, why would you have called me?
Yeah.
Well,
You might get confused and you end up in jail there. And he's like, oh no, Kevin told me.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
But she said, well, they told me not to tell you.
He got his butt thrown in jail. He was his butt out of jail. You know?
You're tough.
Yes. Yes.
I am too, man.
Well, it's like the conversation with my son. Yeah, he saw me turning my cell phone off and throw it in the drawer. He's like, well, what if I need it? It's like, what are you going to need it for? You have too much to drink, call a cab, call Uber. You go to jail, you don't want to talk to me at 3 in the morning. You know, if you're in the hospital, I'm not a doctor. What do you want from me? You know?
Yeah, but when it comes to drinking, I want my kids to.
No. I want them to, but I don't want them to get the position anyway.
No, that's true, but I don't want them to be like, oh, fuck, I can't get a ride, I better drive, my dad will kill me.
Oh, no, I'm told.
So you call a cab, you call an Uber. But get home, I'll pay it, whatever.
But your parents not to call you if they think your grandson.
Well, the reaction is to try to help.
I understand that.
On,
but who would not? My folks were not. They were pretty hard people.
Yeah.
And,
well, that's what I teach.
They were used to Dad getting bailed out all the time.
No, I teach my folks because we had a big family. I had 5 brothers. You know, and it's just like, well, you figure you got enough, you can lose one and you're still okay. Or,
My dad got hit by someone got into his boss's email, so he thought the email was from his boss saying run out and buy 15 gift cards for the clients and then I'll reimburse you when I see you tomorrow. But he thought it was literally from his boss, so he did it, and then he sent all the gift card numbers and the pins to who he thought was the boss.
Who was that?
My dad.
But is that normally you give the gift cards to someone.
I think it was her fucking fault, honestly, because it was her email that was breached. It legitimately came from his boss's email.
Remember we had that situation, we were wondering who's the victim, do you remember? Or or somebody's email was breached, we said, well...
Oh, yeah, you're right, exactly.
I forget what it was. But
like, if someone really...
We had a long discussion on it.
Think about it. If mine was breached, and they knew our relationship and sent you an email going, oh, man, I'm stuck over here, give me your Amex number real quick or whatever.
Would I blame you for that? No.
No, of course not, but I'm saying, how would you do it? I mean, if you asked me for a credit card number and it was literally...
I know.
First thing I'd do is probably text you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you okay? What's up?
And I'd probably go, is this Dan?
So that means their whole email into their company email is breached.
I haven't had a fucking cold one for a week. I'm going to go suck down some beer.
Beer is good.
All right. I'm Tom Martino.
We're simply out of time in a little while here, so we're going to continue everyone on Monday, and we're going to look into this chip technology and how that can happen. Thank you, Kevin Calkin, SheridanAutotech.com. Don't forget referralist.com for help, information, and referrals, and save all your problems from me.
You guys still jamming big time, Kevin?
Yeah, crazy.
Mile? Oh, it really is. How about for high people who just can't hire?
Actually, I'm kind of overbooked. I'd like it anyway.
What do you mean overbooked for?
I got 7 mechanics.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You should loan some out. I know
well, I'm trying to get one of them late to Aurora. Today we got 2, and they do really easy.
Oh, okay.
You should get some, like, blue highlights in the pink.
No,